A highly intellectual black man is a groiper. Can you believe such a thing? I thought that they were all one and the same. Who could have imagined? But it's not true. It's not.
There's diversity amongst them.
There certainly is. Osiris, welcome back to Revolutionary Change.
What's good? It's been a journey. I'm a black groiper. Groiper's in the building. No, I'm. What's up?
It's good to see you, man.
Good.
How are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Jen? Peter, what's good?
So you saw we hit the 100K, right?
Absolutely, I saw that. I retweeted it. I'm so happy, proud. You know, I'm not surprised, but no, you can't take anything for granted. The grind that you've been on, and really, I think it's the networking, the coalition, all different types of people you speak with, and really happy for you on the channel.
Thank you. And just for people who are coming on, like in our chat, Osiris is one of our original supporters.
Oh, yeah.
Like original, he's still a Patreon.
Yeah.
Like it's totally cool.
That's good.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, he's one of our OG supporters. So welcome. Are you here? Are you prepared to air your grievances?
I have one major one, but yeah, I am prepared.
Okay, hold on. We're going to bring in, because we have another guest that popped on. So this is exciting. So
well, I told you this is going to be like a recurring
It's going to be
thing.
hilarious because we have
all
no idea, but everybody's going to get to air their grievances. It's going to be
It also
fun.
goes to show you how much of an artsy person you are, because you're like scattered. Yeah, I don't want to make a schedule. I
don't want to make a
schedule
because if I was having a cocktail party, it would be like a flow, you know, it's a flow. So guys, Josie is here, Josie Gilbo, who is the veteran. She's veteran or serving. Wait, bring her in.
She is a former U.S. Army,
Army.
all source intel analyst, and somebody who actually is a real hero and a disruptor in the halls of Congress. Josie, welcome back to Revolutionary Change.
Hi.
Hi. Is it a Christmas party?
Irish Josie. Yeah.
You came prepared. I love it.
Yeah, I was like, if this is a Christmas party, I need to bring in the Christmas decor. But my favorite piece, this is my favorite piece.
Look at that. Nice.
Very nice.
That's very nice. See, and here's the thing. Across the political spectrum, we all agree. Isn't that like we can all agree on that? So Josie and Osiris, say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
We're going to air grievances. So Osiris, why don't you start? Let's start with, we're going to start and see where this takes us, because I'm sure we have a lot of similar grievances.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll start with a semi-serious one. Actually, pretty serious. You know, for my channel, I've always wanted to connect with people on different perspectives, just like we're doing right now. And I was labeled a black groiper, but I'm a friend of the groipers. Groipers are a certain demographic, I would say. But Nick Fuentes, he actually opened up an invitation to work with people who might be called on the left. And he said he was willing to compromise on the free market. And I have heard no one that I've seen take him up on that offer. And that's a grievance. That's my first grievance.
Did you? Because
absolutely.
I don't participate in your Nick Fuentes discussion.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Fuentes is definitely, again, I'm not going to say he's intelligence. This is, I'm sure Josie hears this all the time about Tucker's intelligence, Candace's intelligence list. All I know is that he's mealy mouthed on a lot of things when it comes to Israel. On the one hand, he says the right thing. On another hand, he may say something else. But at the end of the day, as you often like to say, a substantial portion of people that are involved in politics, they need upper management. They need somebody to follow, somebody to guide them, because this is just the way that it is. It's why people like going to rallies and they go to AmFest in Arizona. Let's join the rally and get excited.
See, I'd so much rather go to a music festival, right? Like that makes sense to me.
I agree.
Would I break bread with Fuentes and just figure out how to deal with Israel, for example? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day,
but what is it about him?
He's.
How do you like him, Osiris? He's such this little white boy. Like, how do you like him?
There you go again with the racism. What's going
on?
No,
it's funny. He wouldn't take
his own silo, and he's self-proclaimed virgin, but he hates women. But he's like, That is so dysfunctional. Like, it's so weird. And what does that do for like, what is man? What is a man? That is so unmanly.
Hamburger, who is our new troll along with Travers. He's the resident troll, but I like the guy. He's great. Nick Fuentes is a professional shit disturber.
Okay. I just don't
So
get
cool.
the deal with him. That's all. I don't get it.
A lot of people actually from different perspectives, libertarian even, and the left, have started listening to him since basically since the whole October 7th. He has, if you listen to his show, basically the heart of the show, believe it or not, for those who don't listen, it is not mundane. It's like really deep dive on basic political topics. It's really the heart of the show. And then you see the clips of all the funny stuff that get views, but he's one of the smartest political analysts, just flat out, that exists out there. But I think all the stuff that's happened has pushed me closer to faith, to my, like, how do I view like religion and faith and Christianity, and the way that he speaks on that resonates with me. I know he comes across as he hates women. That's not true, but I don't blame people who don't know.
He's terrified of women. I
He
think women
definitely
scare him
doesn't
to
think
death.
he has made it very clear he doesn't want women to vote. But to your point, I would also sit down at the table with him, and as someone who is a follower of Jesus Christ, he sat at the table with the worst sinners. He sat at the table with the murderers, with the promiscuous women, with people who were the undesirables, because that's where the real work is. And if you don't want to preach to the choir, and if you want to bring like a solid force of love and humanity into this world, the people you have to sit at the table with are not going to be the ones you're preaching to the choir. It's going to be the ones who you have to have those hard conversations, meet them where they are, and plant seeds. So I would totally sit at the table with him, because he needs more people like us that's here right now in his life to bring him, further along to encompass all of humanity. But so to your
great.
point, if
Yeah.
we are true Christians and want to practice what Jesus teaches, we will sit at the table with him.
I would also imagine that with the experiences that you and Anthony have had in the halls of Congress, that you need as many supporters and movement leaders as possible to back you up, because in so many instances, you're kind of out on an island. And even if there are people there that want to support you, they don't have the intestinal fortitude to even put themselves in a position where they may be put into handcuffs. Like, there's really something to be said for just having the balls to go into Capitol Hill and just do what's necessary. And so I totally understand where you're coming from. And that's why, like I said, I could have very profound disagreements with Nick, and I do, but I also believe that he is an influential person. There's no question about it, that once you get past Tucker and Candace, it's really, you toss it up in the air in terms of who's the next most influential person. And if he told me it was Fuentes, I wouldn't be able to argue that point. I think it's probably very valid.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have a new person coming in. So Osiris, is that like your main grievance? And then we're going to invite Mel in, and we're going to get to Josie's first grievance. And then we will continue like a round robin. So guys, we have half of, and I always forget the name.
Previously Prohibited
Podcast. We have half of the team of Previously Prohibited Podcast.
You know the Crazy Village lady, because she is if there is a whisperer on X, if there is a true whisperer on X that even the biggest accounts are like, yeah, whatever that lady's saying, that's who I'm backing. Mel, welcome back to Revolutionary Change.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so we're starting to go around and share grievances, and Osiris shared his grievance, and we're going to go in order. So Josie, let's hear like one of your grievances.
Okay, I'm going to say this as a white person, because it needs to be said.
Okay.
This past year, we're ending out 2025. And this past year, the most frustrating thing has been the white liberals, the people who try and dictate how the Palestinians are going to be liberated, how the Black people are going to be liberated, how LGBTQ are going to be liberated. One of the most frustrating moments throughout, like multiple moments throughout this year, is having to deal with white people overpowering the voices of the oppressed. Can we
You know what that
please
is?
talk about that?
Do you know what I call that?
What is that? I call it white liberal, but there might be a
Yeah.
better word.
Yeah, caucasity. It's caucasity.
I like it.
And it's a certain type of person for sure. And it's generally the common denominator is privilege. That's what we're speaking about. I mean, that's the common denominator, but it does tend to be white. It isn't always
Yes,
white,
it does.
but it does tend to be white. But yeah, I call that caucasity. Making
has
decisions
been one
for
of the
things that
most
you know nothing
frustrating.
about.
I'm a new activist, quote unquote, right? I've only been doing this 2 years, since October 7th. And I see why we don't make progress, because we're not listening to the ones who've been doing this for probably
Correct.
now hundreds of years. Let's listen to the people who have been fighting oppression for generations on generations. And you're a support person. You're helper. I tell people my role, helper. I'm support. Where do you need me? And what do I need to amplify? Because I'm not fighting for me. I'm fighting for you. So you tell me what you need me to do. That has been one of the most frustrating things. And I am going into this new year calling people out, because I avoid conflict. I avoid confrontation. I just like that Bart Simpson meme where he just like disappears into the bush. As soon as things start, I'm like, not me. No, this year, this is the year. I'm calling people out. So be prepared.
That's awesome. No, I appreciate that. No, it's good. And you know what? Quite honestly, for the fact that you've only been doing this 2 years, that's very astute. It took me a lot longer to really see that pattern. So yeah, granted, we're on like hyperdrive now that we're watching a Holocaust in real time, but so I feel like everything is accelerated. But so yeah,
I got to interject a little bit. So I totally get what you're saying, and I do agree that it's almost always a point of privilege that if you're on the right's been bitching about liberal white women forever. Like that's like the number one boogeyman on the right. They love to beat up on some liberal white women, which I think some of it is definitely earned. But I would say that I think that white people, especially white women, we should recognize the strengths that we have, the access to certain areas of privilege that we have, and we should use our position in our access to those levers of power to advocate smart and responsibly. So that's what I say, okay, I'm this white woman. I don't want to say it's not like I'm rich or anything like that. It's not like I have all this access to power, but I do have this little bit of platform. So let me use it the best way that I can to advocate and to elevate voices who wouldn't maybe necessarily have access to some of the audiences that I have access to. That I know that makes people uncomfortable because it sounds a little bit snooty and whatnot, but it's like, look, I just realized what I got, and I'm going to share the wealth wherever I can.
Do you know what
That's a good
called?
campaign slogan. White people advocate and elevate.
Yeah.
I took this training course that the Lakota Sioux from that were the ones that like organized Standing Rock rather. They came down here to Florida and did like this non-violent training session. It was really cool. And one of the things that the Lakota Sioux say about being a good friend to the people is it's called lending your privilege. And that always stuck with me. But that's exactly what we do. So you lend your privilege, and that's what you're saying. Yeah.
One of the biggest one of the biggest problems in political circles, especially if you've been around, various campaigns and just events and things like that, especially as you allude to the liberal side of politics, is people want to be seen and they want to be heard. And taking a step back is a very hard thing to do. But if you have the knowledge and the understanding, like for people like myself and Jen, I can easily stand in a room and not say a word for 2 hours. Because sometimes you have to accept the fact that there are people who just simply want to be, in the spotlight. They want to be noticed and all of that. Erica Kirk. But this is just part of what politics has become. And in my opinion, it's warranted if it's for a cause that matters. If it isn't, then you're just wasting time. And the one thing we learned, especially down here in South Florida, it's a circular firing squad. Like, you're wasting your time if you think you're getting anywhere in these types of groups. However, I think we can all come to the same conclusion, is that elections matter, but in the grand scheme of what we're trying to accomplish right now, they don't mean anything. This is all about a movement that we're trying to advocate for serious fundamental change. And if there is a person who is advocating for that change on Capitol Hill, along with Josie, it is friend of the show and somebody I consider a personal friend, Anthony Aguilar.
Hello.
How are you, brother?
Hi, Anthony.
So, okay, Anthony, welcome to the solstice party. We're going to move on. And so, Mel, we need to know give us a good grievance. We need some good grievances. We're commiserating here, but let's say this. Let's say, like, though we are normally much more feisty, let us have we will listen and we will not judge with everybody's grievances.
Yeah. So my number one grievance probably on the right is the unwillingness of MAGA people who say that they're anti-war, say that they're populists, which populism, obviously, is, the fundamentalism of populism is what's good for the populace, right?
Yeah.
Is them just not being willing to voice any kind of, they've just turned into total cult members, right? Trump hasn't done jack for the populists. He hasn't done jack to serve the populist agenda. And it's been really depressing to watch how many of these people have just fold and bend their way. And it's very, very frustrating, because I'm like, prior when it was Biden, I found a lot of common ground with a lot of people, and everyone was on the same page on a lot of these things. And now what we see, I guess, at the very top of the MAGA movement, definitely, what we've actually seen is this total alienation. I have about 20% of my followers just say they're never going to vote again, ever. They're done. They hate all of it. And then there's another 60% that won't even acknowledge that it's a total failure. And then, the remaining 20% are like diehard, will never criticize anything that Trump does. And so for me, it's just kind of sickening. I'm like, look, it's okay. Like, I don't know. For me, my biggest thing is just this cultish following of politicians. All politicians suck. They just all suck. Every last one of them. Don't ever make a politician your hero. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And yeah, so I guess for me, just watching what I thought were pretty strong populists, watching them fold in this kind of really grotesque way, even though I know, like, a lot of your listeners probably don't agree with a lot of the stuff that, I don't know, it's a lot of the populist agenda of Trump, but I think they probably do agree with a lot of the populist agenda of Trump, but it's just been such a disappointment. And I don't know if you saw earlier today, there was a New Yorker article, I believe it was, where he's just literally just selling access to the White House in such a really, I know it happened before in the last term, but it is like on steroids now. Like, you want access to Trump? $2.5 million.
Well, he's literally selling the country for parts. He's selling the. Oh yeah, no, it's absurd. It's absurd. So, okay, so that's a good grievance, but I feel like it's also, again, a very universal bipartisan grievance. I think we see that in every direction. What you're talking about, the cult of personality shit that you see, and it's more like cult of identity, like on the left. But yeah. You made me think of something. This was sort of my surprise. So guys, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I made a graphic, and throughout the night, we're going to have a poll, and I'll pop it up every once in a while. And we'll put out a poll at the end, and you guys will vote on which is your favorite. Where is that thing? Oh, here it is. So guys,
what is the deal? What does that mean? The little donkey.
This is Ben Shapiro on quote unquote.
Oh my God, number two.
Okay, guys, wait. So
Okay, I'm sorry.
we're going to put out a poll at some point, Colin, if you will, and we'll wait a little while and then we'll put out the poll and everybody will vote for 1, 2, or 3 as their favorite. And that will be just something I thought we would have some fun with. I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
Oh,
with
he
that.
is Lil Napoleon, that's for sure.
Okay, I probably wouldn't sit at a table with him.
Oh no.
He sits at the children's table.
I'm
so
gonna leave
not
that to
worry.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony's a little bit stronger in his Catholic faith as a Christian. Anthony, I'm gonna leave you for the table with Ben. Okay,
I can't
We'll let you
fathom
have
how
Adam
you would not-
first.
Anthony, how would you not pummel him? Like how other than to be so pathetic, like it's one of those like he's so pathetic and mealy. It's almost like low hanging fruit.
First of all, you're not supposed to make inappropriate anti-Semitic pictures of me. All right, that is really, really not right. Okay, did you not hear what I said the other night at Amfest? Haven't you learned already that I'm always going to win, no matter how tiny a man I am? Don't you understand? I'm telling you, he's like in that in-between period where he's stuck trying to hit puberty, but he can't quite get there. Like that's why, like you said, he paints the goatee on himself.
Well, it's either that or it's like poo from Betty Hoo-Hoo's butt.
Tony,
He
what's your
is-
top? What is your top grievance besides Ben Shit Piero or Lil Ben Shit Piero?
And that's just once, twice actually.
Oh, yeah. He's
Go ahead.
he's absolutely disgusting and just pathetic. I really don't see how there's anyone that follows him, even if they do agree with his distorted views of reality, how you can follow him and just, I mean, he's gross. That's the only word I can think of it. But yeah, the airing of grievances. So, I got
Yes.
a lot of problems with a lot of people, and now they're going to
Yes,
hear
well,
about it.
let's start with one. Let's start with a big grievance. And by the way, everybody feel free to chime in, again, but we listen and we do not judge.
So I'll say, to
I'm
Donald,
reading the comments. Ton of judgment. I should not
Okay.
have opened the comments.
All right, so if he's 6 feet tall, he's got to wear lifts. He's got to wear lifts.
He's actually tall. He is a tall guy. I know that on good authority.
Okay, well, whatever. I'd still I'd
He
love
may
to
be
watch
he may
Anthony
be tall in
pummel
stature,
him.
but he's short as hell. And
I feel like I might be able to pummel him.
oh yeah, you can listen.
Oh, yeah.
If Candace and Ben squared off, I'm taking Candace in a fist fight against him. Like
Well,
I
I'm
seriously
taking the
would.
punching bag.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
Candace
Candace-
Owens would take him in a fight without question. I mean, just
Yes.
it would be, yeah. I think Ben Shapiro's the type of guy that he would show up to a fight and he'd bring a lawyer. I mean, that's how he would fight. I mean, he's
All right, now
he's
if
a
he heard
coward.
that, if he heard that one, he would accuse you of being an anti-Semite. No question. About it.
I mean, it's-
The whole goal is to get under his skin. So I don't.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's hear it, Anthony. What's your first grievance?
So the person that I want to call out that I actually am really angry at is Donald Trump. I think that the president of our country is embarrassing us. I think that he is a racist. I think that he is a bigot. He is a misogynist. I think it's disgusting that this man gets to put his name on U.S. policy. I think that I read when the national security strategy signed by Donald Trump was released a couple weeks ago. I was angry because in it, this man who has never served his country talks about how no longer under his leadership, no longer will the U.S. fight wars for power and resources. We will only fight wars that are required for the freedom and protection of Americans. So basically, the president of the United States is saying to all service members, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines, that the sacrifices you've all made over the last 2+ decades of conflict where you were fighting in wars that you thought were for the right reasons, it wasn't. And not only am I going to discredit everything you've done, I'm going to pull us into a war in Venezuela and claim that they have our land and our oil. I mean, what an idiot. He is off his meds. He is, I am so angry. And the second person that I have the most direct of grievance with that I wish I had an opportunity to talk with.
No, excuse me. You referenced me, and I have to come in here and defend my honor and defend our table's honor. I am a really, really smart person. You are totally wrong. I am smart because everybody gets lied to. And I said, we're going in for the oil. Would you rather I lied and said it was about the fentanyl? I mean, come on, let's be honest. I said it's the oil. We're totally going to take it, and we're going to steal those ships, and it's going to be really great. You will thank me. You might not thank me today or tomorrow, but someday, Anthony, believe me, thank you for your service, and you'll be thanking me for mine too someday. Okay. You can
Okay,
go.
that's pretty good. All right,
That was good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Who's second? Who comes in after Trump?
So it'd be, I really, really wanted to, I am angry and upset at Pete Hegseth, but I think that he is such a tool and a useful idiot that it's not even worth it. Who I have grievance with, and I think that the world needs to pay more attention to, and grievances is Jared Kushner. So just yesterday, Jared Kushner's big, brilliant, beautiful plan for how to end the war in Gaza and how to make Palestine free is a $112 billion resort project, a real estate project in Gaza, of which the United States has already said, Donald Trump has already said, my brilliant son-in-law, my brilliant son-in-law has come up with the most brilliant plan to support the most brilliant peace deal. And it's going to rebuild Gaza into a place that will be the envy of the world. And the United States is already ponying up $24 billion. The U.S. has already said that we will pay for 20% of it. $24 billion are going into this plan for exactly what I've been saying since I returned from Gaza and what I saw on the maps in the headquarters of the Israeli office that coordinates everything for Gaza. Their plan of the Riviera, of the resort, of rebuilding Gaza into a real estate venture, and that Jared Kushner is the one who is representing our nation as this deal broker, and really he's just lining his pockets, making himself rich, making his cronies rich. Donald Trump is obviously happy with it. And, I think the guy is gross. I think he's a weirdo. He looks like that ventriloquist doll in that movie, The Boy, where that ventriloquist comes to life and lives behind the wall. Look at the post. Look, someone pop up that movie poster. He looks like
a wax figure.
He looks like a wax figure. He's not even human. And to think that man is the one that gets to decide about how whether or not we may end up at war in that region, or how our tax dollars should be spent. It's disgusting. He disgusts me, and he makes me so angry. And I feel like if I just had a moment in a room with him to have a conversation with him, I would just enjoy just making fun of him to his face.
You think that would really be satisfying enough? I think he would say something and open his mouth in such a way that would warrant a fist in it.
No, I think you would get so enraged that you would figure out how to physically remove his head from his body.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it would go well until he opened his mouth.
Well, the problem, of course, throughout history is that you have people like this, like the Kushners of the world, that always send the Aguilars and the Guillebos off to die for their cause. This has been a tale as old as time, and it almost happened to me, and I'm sure it's almost happened to a lot of people. And once you learn, you can't unsee it. So it's like, okay, I want to fight for my country. I want to defend my country because I love America. I don't love the people that run this country, and I'm not quite sure who does. I'd be very curious to know. Mel, you had a thought. Get in there.
Right. Well, I think one of the problems with Jared Kushner is I actually think that if you got in a room with him, you would be surprised at how charismatic and charming that he is. People like this, they don't get to the positions that they are if they're nasty, right? He is actually extremely smooth. From what I've heard, he is very, very friendly and nice, and he is conciliatory to people in grievances. He is conciliatory to grievances of all types, right? And people he's a smooth car salesman, right? I don't like to put down car salesmen by comparing them to war criminals or people who support war criminals, because most car salesmen are actually just normal people, but that's how he is. He's a very good salesman. And so I do think that we should be just on guard as to far as number one, who Kushner is, what he represents, and why it is that he is so powerful, right? Why
Yes.
are the Saudis thrown in with him? Why did they give him $1 billion on his hedge fund when this is a man who has not demonstrated an ability to turn a profit on anything, right? Why would the Saudis give him that? Why? Because, of course, because again, this goes back to bigger things, and this is all goes back to the American deep state. And I hesitate to like say, oh, there's one or two people pulling the string. There's a system that runs smoothly when certain people are in charge, right?
Yeah, I think I think his family probably goes back to like Rothschild connections. Like I think that he's one of those types of people that it goes back like that.
He absolutely is, but I hesitate to, because I do think that there is especially on the right, well, I don't know, maybe on the left too, there is a hesitation to, of course, they call it the JQ, right? The Jewish question, like the Jews run the world thing. I actually don't fall into that category. I think that's about 20% of it, right? I do think that there's more things that go into it. And I don't actually think that just being rich and connected to the Rothschild is enough. I think you need more, right? And so I'm always interested in that. Like, what is it actually that's driving this real power? Like
threats or blackmail. Usually, it's usually threats or blackmail. Wait, before we go on,
something else. Yeah,
we're bringing in another person who's going to join us and file grievances. And again, we all listen and we do not judge. Okay.
She is the host of the Savvy Sabs podcast.
Oh,
Sabrina
wow.
Salvati. Welcome back to Revolutionary Change.
Hi.
Hello, happy end of 2025.
Final
What
game.
a year. Feels like
It's
20
been-
years.
It's been a year.
I'm ready
yeah.
for 2026 now.
Okay, so should we bring in Harvey before we go?
Yeah, I mean, listen, how many more spots can we fill on the
Not,
checking
I mean,
board?
it's
don't
pretty
know.
much,
We're gonna
I mean, it's
find
amazing.
out.
I don't care. Like, I really threw this out there very hippy dippy. I'm like, you know what? We're going to do it like a solstice.
Blame Jen.
Yes.
Oh, you want to?
I didn't touch anything.
No, Colin probably did that.
Okay. Well, no, and I just didn't want people to feel like committed to any particular time. And I thought people can come, they can go, they can file a grievance. I don't know.
The only thing that's missing from this, honestly, at this point, is the Yuli log. We need the Yuli log right in the middle.
a
where
Yuli log?
Well, you know, like everybody's like,
it's called a Yule log.
oh, Yule log? Oh, whatever.
I
Like
have
gather
no
around
idea
the
what that
camp-
is.
Yeah,
You
we'll
don't know what a Yule log is?
No.
gather around the campfire.
Okay, so a Yule, well, Yule is really the time of the season. This is the Yule, like it's pagan, and it has to do with this. Today is the solstice, and a Yule log is what people would burn, and you would throw in like the negative stuff. We would write it down and throw it in the fire, and you burn the Yule log, and you have the Yule log cake, and the Yule log represents the season.
Anthony,
pagan.
do Catholics do that?
Well, I
don't think
don't know, but there's definitely
I don't think I
elements
ever
of that
experienced
okay. So there's
I don't
definitely
like it.
elements of that in Christianity and Catholicism. They adopted a lot of it because the birth of Jesus, I believe, was really sometime in spring, but it wasn't
Summer.
as popular summer. Okay. And so they needed to attach it to something to make it really catch on. And so
Pretty
a
sure
lot
it was
of is
September.
pagan. September, is that it?
Well, that
I
technically
believe
counts.
so. Yeah.
Right,
Well,
so
that's
also
true.
September, that
Yeah.
counts as all
I heard
Christmas.
somebody going off saying that it had to have been in the springtime because of what they were doing with the herding and the flocking.
What do you want
I
me to
don't
say
know.
to Harvey?
Whatever he wants,
Okay.
however he wants to do it.
Good.
But point being, it's the solstice, and the reason that there's a Christmas tree is not because of Jesus, right? Like it's from pagan ritual. Just like there's not really a bunny and an egg really has nothing to do with Easter either, but yet there it is.
Hmm.
So anyhow, okay, we're
Well,
gonna,
I got to add,
yeah.
but because of interpretation of separation of church and state, the Christmas tree and of course the bunny at Easter have actually taken on more prominence in terms of celebration because of that, because the court decided you can't have the nativity tree to represent Christ, or Christmas. It shows favoritism. So that's actually, it started in the late 70s where they really started to push that Christmas tree and that Easter because it or that banner because it got around those kind of limitations. Sorry.
Right. No, it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah. But it makes
Savvy.
sense. It does help make sense of things.
Savvy, what is your top grievance
Grievance.
of 2025?
Oh my God.
Long list.
I know this has been a crazy, crazy year, especially for news cycles. I'm sure you guys have run into this too, where every other night it seems like there's so many news stories you don't know which one you're going to cover. I feel like that's how it's been 2025. I would really and I'm hopeful about this, but I would really like for everybody to find a way to come together, at least on a populist message and an anti-war message. And I feel like we could be getting there in some way, shape, or form, but I feel like there's certain gatekeepers in this particular YouTube progressive and conservative spaces that are trying to prevent that from happening. So I saw the pictures of the little horse with Ben Shapiro, right? So I feel like
you cracked me up today with that. Beyond. That was part of what inspired me to do it, guys. Sabby did a really good takedown of Ben Shapiro. He is so pitiful. We have a normal thing here where that would have been 3 times. If his name is invoked, so we're going to be doing a poll tonight, guys. You'll vote on 1, 2, or 3 of your favorite. But when his name is invoked, this is normally what happens. All right. This is this is what normally happens. This is the short version. I'll teach you. Is that's what so and then there's a longer version, but Ben is a favorite here and it never gets old. Him in the bag, it never gets old. But I think I really appreciate
Vicky crapped
that,
his diaper.
and I appreciate what you're saying about gatekeepers, and it's always been something that's pissed me off in this entire industry since we've been doing this as well. Like it's very junior high school and it's very, very frustrating.
Yep.
And
that goes back to my grievance. My grievance.
Okay.
Go for it, Josie.
That's it. You didn't get to hear my grievance, but it's exactly what you're saying. The gatekeepers that I've come across in the past year have mostly been white, privileged. I don't want to say liberals. I don't know if that's the right term. What did you say? Well,
no, I call what you were complaining about. I call it as caucasity.
Caucasity.
Well,
It's sort of like it's explaining to different groups what they need.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
explaining to
And who
like
they
that
can
we
work
know
with
like
and
that.
who they cannot. That's the thing. Oh, you can't work with that person because they collabed on a video talking about a book that talked about an uncle that their cousin was maybe. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, see,
There are
that's definitely a
people-
liberal thing, right? You don't see
People
that
are
crap on the
dying. There are people
It was-
dying. What are you talking about?
So last night, funny enough, I had this woman come into my mentions and I was talking about, so they were of course doing the whole like Nigerian Christians are being slaughtered. That means that we apparently have to bomb Nigeria kind of thing, and I had a Druze Israeli come into my mentions and they said, why are you pushing the Qatari line by rejecting this, right? Which is just nuts. All of this is nuts, right? And I said, well, basically they were like, why are you shilling for Muslims? And I said, well, don't come in my mentions and tell me that and talk to me about this because Muslims in Azerbaijan have been murdering Christians, okay? And and they're supplied by Israelis, and you all don't care at all. So don't tell me that you care about Christians all over the world because you don't, obviously. And then this person comes in my thing and they're saying, Muslims don't murder anybody. Check your effing language.
If you guys remember a couple of weeks ago when James Lee got fired and we, along with I think Matt Kim, were the first to have him on just to talk about what went on, and we really didn't mince words. It's like it's pretty obvious here that if you're not, especially with Israel, like if you're going to come to a fork in the road and you're going to make a decision that's based on your own selfish interest, gatekeeping, if you will, and I don't have to name them, you know who I'm talking about. That to me is a sign of somebody that you simply cannot collaborate with, because there will always be that point where they will decide that our lucrative career, especially if there is a significant adjacency to one of the two major parties, they will eventually stop because access is very important to them, and especially if they're in Washington, D.C. So I think you have to keep that in mind. It's not personal, and I've hung out with several of these people, but when it comes to the cause, I don't give a shit, because the cause is more important.
Well,
I
yeah,
think that it's a big access issue. It's unfortunate what happened to James. I had James on my show about a year ago, and I thought he was doing really great work back then. But it's unfortunate. There's some people that have decided that they want to have access to politicians. We also have the midterms coming up, 2026. So I'm sure that they're going to try to get access to people that are running in the midterms. And then, of course, the ultimate goal is to get access to the presidential candidates in 2028. And I think some people have decided that they don't want to associate with certain people, regardless if they're doing good work or not, because that may threaten their chances of having access to certain political candidates, right? So I think that that's what it really is. But then at that point, I think you just have to ask this question, like, is it independent media or are you trying to be like mainstream media?
Exactly. Oh, well, I mean,
Right.
listen, I think that is a huge cog in the equation, but it's almost like, why do you want to talk to these presidential candidates, especially if there's conditions attached to them? I'm not saying that it would have made any difference, because I think Trump ultimately would have won no matter what. But when Kamala was running, there were conditions put on everybody. There was no open conversation. You couldn't just say what was on your mind.
Well, she can't hold a conversation.
But I would say that the same is true. And that's fair. But I think the same could be true, especially because the person who I do believe, despite the fact that a lot of people think AOC is going to run on the Dems side, I think the person who's going to carry the torch in terms of the so-called progressive lane, if there's even one that exists,
Whatever.
which I don't think does, but that is going to be Ro Khanna. And if he's going to do it, he probably has at least somewhat of an understanding that if you do not conduct yourself in a completely transparent way, the door is already shut before it even begins, because the Democratic establishment is going to get behind Gavin Newsom. That is painfully obvious, and that is,
Good luck
so
with
you have
that.
to find
Okay, I
another
just
way.
want y'all to know that so prior to all of this, my niche was campaign finance. Okay. I have been holding on to a Newsom thread. I've been holding on to it. I have a whole folder. It's
Oh, I can't
beautiful.
wait for him to run and get
Uh-oh.
taken down. All right, so
oh,
wait,
honey bunny, you
Where
don't
are
even
we?
know.
We're going to rotate around. We're going to rotate around. So Osiris, it's back to you. Do you have another grievance you want to file?
I mean, it's kind of in relation to what Mel was talking about, but Nicki Minaj, I got a problem with you. I love Nicki, man. I did it on him, and Nicki was so cool when she came out, and to see her basically become a phony and to pretend to stand for something but really be used as a prop. And I have a big problem with her going on if you don't know, she went on the TP USA stage. I was surprised to see it. I didn't know it was coming, but you could see in her tweets leading up to that, she was in that lane. But I wish if she had gone to the stage and she also had stood up against the genocide in the Middle East, I would have been like, more power to you, because you took a stance. You took some type of courageous stance. She didn't do that, and I'm disappointed in her because I think she's smart. I think she's talented, but I have a grievance with you now, Nicki.
All right.
She's looking for a pardon for her husband. I think that's part of it, and she's running out of money.
Interesting. Well, there's always something behind the curtain.
That's
Now, listen
interesting.
there.
Yeah.
I agree.
Are they
I think
federal
it was
charges?
out to get
though?
that
Are they
attention
federal
back on
charges?
her.
Well, her husband, he assaulted. He went to prison, from what I understand. He assaulted an underage girl.
Oh
Mhm.
wow, I did not know.
Right.
Yeah.
He did. He
Oh,
held a
wow.
knife to a young girl's throat, and it was the threat of sexual assault. And I believe he went to prison for 4 years. I believe she was 16 and he was 21. So that's what I was reading. And then something came up after that related to that similar charge post him getting out of jail. And I didn't actually know if it was federal or not, because people kept saying, "Oh, she's searching, she's wanting a pardon," and I didn't know if perhaps there were federal charges, because obviously Trump can't pardon a state charge.
So that makes sense why she's like, skulking
Mhm.
around
Right.
TPUSA. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all right. All right. So,
I-
Josie, we're back to you.
Gosh, she covered
You can pass. Like,
gatekeeping.
you don't have to come up with a grievance. You can pass, and we could.
I'll
keep-
pass.
we could just. Keep
I really don't
Okay.
have that much. I mean, honestly, I feel like I have way, way more positive about 2026, despite how absolutely depressing it was to decolonize my mind, to deconstruct my mind, to deprogram my mind from all of the brainwashing of my life. I feel like I've gained so much positivity that my biggest issue that has, but obviously besides witnessing the genocide, but the biggest issue that I've had, I think, is what I touched on. And then like it relates right back to what she said about gatekeeping, because
Yeah.
that's actually what I was talking about.
Mhm.
The white liberals like gatekeeping, like saying you can't, like, let me just give you an example. Okay. A Palestinian approached me. He is a Marine Corps veteran, and he was getting labeled by a terrorist as a terrorist, was on like a no-fly list. Some post 9/11 stuff was happening to him, and he wanted to start going on podcasts to get the message out that Palestinians are not terrorists. Like, this is what Fox News is saying, but they're not. Well, I have a very, very right wing leaning podcast that I went on with my friend at his request. And a member of Jewish Voices for Peace ended up canceling me to speak at a state rally because I went on this podcast. And these people are anti-Semitic. And I was like, well, first of all, I went on the podcast at the request of a Palestinian whose family is getting slaughtered and also getting like investigated for being a quote unquote terrorist. And who are you, white person? Like, to decide. The Palestinians in the group were like, no, we want her to speak. We want her to speak. It was a rally for divesting from Israeli bonds in Ohio. It was a statewide rally. The Palestinians were like, no, we want her to speak. But Jewish white person said, no, she's anti-Semitic, or she hangs out with anti-Semitic people. So this is like one of like 15 to 20 situations that have happened this past year of a white person gatekeeping a Palestinian voice.
This is why Sabby and I have a very good understanding, because if you want to see white liberal hell, go to the Boston suburbs and just understand what this. No. Come on, people. We have to do it this way and then that way. And it's like, no, this is not how this works. In fact, if anything, because you are in a position of comfort and privilege, you actually should be standing back and observing and listening and understanding how you can play a role without having to always grab the baton, because again, you're just so used to always having things done on your terms. That's not how the world
Okay,
works.
so let's address
Look,
this.
I gotta
This is what I say.
I gotta interject. Okay.
Wait,
I
one
say, what
second, 1
concentration?
second.
Wait, hold on. I say, what concentration camp you want to put him in then?
Wait,
every
1
time
second,
people-
guys. So
You're
we touched on
Nazi,
this.
you're fascist, you're anti. They call people on the right this, right? I say, okay, what
Yeah.
concentration camp you want to put him in?
So, guys,
wanna
this is
label these
something that's
people?
like a point of order just thing, because we've mentioned this before, but this is from Abim 6314. I am a Christian Palestinian born in Bethlehem. I wish you all educate people on the meaning of the word Semitic, which means Semitic language such as Arabic, Canaanites, Aramaic, and others. And we have discussed that here, that the actual Semites are the people of that region and are not the white Ashkenazi Jews that are constantly telling everybody that they're anti-Semitic when they're not even Semites.
So I often will clarify when we're saying anti-Semitic, we're talking about Jew hate, that the way other people use that phrase. But yes, thank you. We are aware of that.
And I think it is ridiculous. And that's why I said at the top that if Nick Fuentes got wind of, any of the commentary that I've been making, I've pointed it out right before Charlie was removed. He decided to highlight me and a few others in like this compilation video. And I said, listen, I would have talked to him and I would talk to Fuentes, even if there are substantial differences in opinion on a number of different issues, because in the end, this is a class war. That's what this is. And we are divided along these lines that always will create rifts. But if we're talking about the fact that we live in a country where our federally elected officials are able to get away with insider trading, that Nancy Pelosi for the last 20 years has beat Warren Buffett at stock trading. I mean, at some point, you got to say this is a criminally run country, and it's beyond the point of saving. We have to recognize that this is if you notice the name of the channel, this is a revolutionary change period that we're living in right now. We have to come to terms with that. And it's only going to get worse unless, as Sabby has pointed out, as a lot of us point out, we have to collaborate. Like, it is essential.
Look at the diversity of this panel, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really interesting, right? So it's like, and we all here agree on a lot of things. We really do. Yeah.
I try to always bring that app back, but I will push back a little bit because, no offense, Jen, I do feel that there is a difference between like your white Christians who are sympathetic to Palestinians and then your Jews who are sympathetic to Palestinians, right? Because there is a strong presence of Jews who they don't want, and I get it. Like, I totally get it that you don't want to be, you're Jewish. You don't want to be labeled with all these like people who are literally like cheering on a genocide. I totally get it, right? But I do think that you need to recognize that if you are, number one, you are Jewish and you are advocating, hey, no, you can't have this person on your podcast or you can't associate with this person because they said something that was quote unquote one time anti-Semitic or two times anti-Semitic. I don't know. I don't actually care, to be quite honest with you. We're literally watching a genocide unfold in front of us. We have Lindsey Graham, who again claims to, he's a Christian. All right. Now I will beat the shit out of Lindsey figuratively online all day, every day, as he advocates under like, oh, I'm a Christian Zionist. Oh, look at that sweet baby. Yeah. and so I will like advocate, again, I'm literally ready to figuratively kick the shit out of him because of what he says in the name of Christianity, and I feel like we need more Jews to say, no, actually, you're advocating on the part of Jews, and that's actually not what we're about. And no, and not kind of like blended in. Does that make sense?
I don't know why.
Like an asshole?
Did I say something otherwise?
No, you didn't. You didn't at all. And I don't know why I said that. I shouldn't have said it yet.
Because it was the Jewish Voices for Peace.
Right.
No, because it was the Jewish Voices for Peace white person that overshadowed the Palestinians.
I guess I just look a lot like them.
No, but I know in fact that you are Jewish, and I don't want to like. I have so many like wonderful Jewish people that follow me, like strong advocates that, number one, don't ever get offended at anything I say. They don't call me an anti-Semite or anything like that and whatnot. So I'm like always like protective. I'm like, I'm not trying to like, I want to, but I'm also very conscious of that. Like, I don't want you to think maybe it's that I've been attacked so much. I've been like beat down to like, you are an anti-Semite. And I'm like, really not.
Well, I'm a self-loathing Jew, so it's nice to meet you.
It is what it is. It's like, actually, I don't have any hate in my heart. I'm just telling you what it is, what I see, what I observe. And again, I don't have any problem like criticizing white Christian women or Christians in general. If I think that Christians are advocating for a thing that I think is anti-Christian, like I will absolutely attack them and call them every name in the book as far as like, You don't represent my faith, and you are actually antithetical to Christianity.
I
And
think
it
you also,
angers me.
I
you know?
definitely understand. And I think when you get
Yeah.
closer to the truth, that's why people will act the way that they do. And we can all put a lot of this stuff in perspective because Anthony has seen death and destruction of children, mind you, up close and personal. And there are people in the chat, even tonight, that say disparaging things about him. And the reason,
Who?
a couple of people.
Well, then you ban them.
Anyway, point is, the reason that people say those things is because you're a little too close to the truth. And when you're that close to the truth, the smear campaigns go into overdrive. They have to come after you with everything that they have. And so I would imagine, Anthony, the experience of going over there to the front line, seeing what you saw coming back and people saying that didn't happen, you didn't do anything, to me, that's just a reflection of they don't have anything that they can say that can defend their actions against what you witnessed, what we know is going down. So the only thing that they could possibly do is say, well, let's just say it didn't happen. What else could we possibly do at this point? Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I one of my biggest, well, first thing I'll say is that Josie is being humble with her airing of grievances. She and I, last time we were in DC, we went to the Dewdrop Inn to get a drink, and she aired some grievances. Afterwards, I had to go to confession. I mean, I was the things that I heard, but yeah. To those out there that would question what I witnessed in Gaza, but to question what not only myself but what others have witnessed in Gaza, doctors, aid workers, to include, there are members of the IDF who themselves have admitted to and have said what has happened. So to these people that deny what has happened or want to smear me because I am telling the truth of what happened, I think those that deny it fall into two camps. Those that have never experienced anything close to it and can't even comprehend how bad it is, or those that deny it and will always deny it because they are incels and they are paid and they are supported by AIPAC or others to say mean and vile things. But the truth is that, what is happening in Gaza, as unbelievable as it may seem, it is true. And the U.S. defense industry is a part of it. U.S. politicians are a part of it. And no one, my own mother could disagree with me on what I saw in Gaza, and it would not persuade me any differently because I saw it with my own eyes, and I'm not seeing it from someone that has nothing to compare it to in terms of a contextual comparison. I've been in Raqqa in Syria when ISIS hung people from the streets. I've been in Baghdad, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Tajikistan, in the Philippines. I've seen the worst of what human beings can do to each other. And what I witnessed in Gaza is by far the worst that I have ever experienced in my entire life, in my military career. And anybody that would say different, I'd say that either they don't know what they're talking about, they have not experienced it, or if they have experienced it and they're making a comparison to what they've seen in Gaza, then there's something wrong with them mentally. There is something wrong with them. But I think the majority of people fall into the camp of they don't know what they're talking about, because very few people on the outside have been into Gaza and very few people have seen what is actually happening with their own eyes, not through media reports, not through someone told them, not from what they heard, but have seen it with their own eyes up close and personal. And out of all the people that have, very few have been to those GHF sites that saw what I saw. And the rest of those folks that were there with me at that GHF site, another grievance I have is with the Infidels Motorcycle Club. That's who the rest of the country wants to believe is the Infidels Motorcycle Club, a group of folks who call themselves infidels, who stand for crusading and the Pope's edict of 1095 to invade the Holy Land, who celebrate the killing of Muslims as sport. That's who all these people want to say they believe. Well, you can believe them all you want. That talks to your credibility far more than it does mine.
Yeah. And by the way, if I see anybody talking shit about Anthony in the chat, you be gone. Like, don't be ridiculous.
Bye. Bye.
And
Yeah.
I want
Bye.
to ask, and I want to ask you
Bye.
all, the one thing I would say that really came to fruition in 2025, and they have really kicked this into overdrive, but I don't think it's working, at least nowhere near the way that it used to. Anti-Muslim bigotry used to have a place. It still does in almost every politician and every what you would call independent or corporate media talking head adjacent to one of the two major parties. They will still go down that road of speaking ill about whether it is Muslims outright or just jihadists, if you will. But I'm finding that talking point is not landing the way it used to. I'm finding that is not
Only with bots. I think that now there are bot farms.
Yeah.
Well, you said
I
bot
always say
farms.
they have to pay people, but and
There
that
are
was something
literally
that
there are
Ben
literally
Shapiro
bot
called out
farms
for.
that make these Islamophobia comments underneath, like, okay, this person's gonna post this, and all these like reactions that are against Muslims that are, and you could, and every time I click them, because I'll be clicking them, it's like 6 followers.
Yeah.
Random picture. I'm like, oh,
They're not real.
Mel probably
bot
knows that as
farm.
much as, and Sabs too. The larger accounts, you probably see that all day.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Okay,
do,
wait,
and I don't know
that
about. I know Sab. I've seen your stuff. I interact with your stuff all the time. I know you do as mine, and I think you do a very good job. And I try to do a good job of. You have to kind of landscape. Okay, I don't let these people in my stuff. I see your stuff. You're doing some kind of disparaging, sick thing about Muslims. Boom, blocked. Hey, I hide your comment, and you are immediately blocked. Immediately. No, you are not allowed to spread your hate. You are not allowed to grift off of my following. Okay. And it's funny. I was talking to my sister the other day, and she said, because I love my co-host Janine, and she's so sweet, but she's a free speech lawyer, right? So she doesn't like to block people. She gets very about blocking people.
No, this is different. We're not a public space. This is
exactly.
like my living room. This is like my living room.
My sister says, Janine's stuff has been showing up in my timeline a lot more, but her comments are so depressing. And I'm like, because she doesn't, and I tell her all the time, I'm like, you have to, because again, she said, when I go into your comments, it's just not like that. There's debate, but she said, but there's nothing disgusting or nasty. And then I go, in the hate that is fueled, and my so sweet co-host, who is just God bless. I adore her.
Mel,
she is just an angel. Okay,
Mel, I gotta freeze you for 1 second,
Of
and
course.
I will say that one of the things about Janine is that she's not only is she an attorney, but she's Palestinian, and that is the reason. And she's in D.C., so there is a reason why they come after her. Because remember, if you don't have hate like that, if you have the hate that people like Sabby have, that people like Anthony have, that people like you have, Mel, and you, Josie, then you're doing it wrong. If you have the hate, that means you're doing something.
Of course.
Right. Osiris, I know you got to roll.
Thank you
but
for filing your grievances. And Sabby, I'm coming
Merry
back.
Christmas.
Appreciate
Final
you.
thought, final thought before you go, my friend. Great to see you, and obviously have a very Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
All
Merry
right,
Christmas.
Sabby, we're back around. So let's hear your next grievance.
Oh dear. So one of the things I did talk about recently on the podcast is I just don't want any repeats for 2028. Kamala Harris, I don't know if everybody knows, but it's been announced that she's planning to run again in 2028.
Oh my
God.
No more Kamala, no more Clintons, no more Bushes, just no more repeats. I think it needs to be fresh faces, fresh energy, and it has to be someone who is running on a populist message, not someone that's running on like this neocon ideology, like the Lindsey Graham type or whatever, but also they have to be running on a plan for affordability for people here, right here in the United States. And one of the things I noticed with that America Fest is that Vivek Ramaswamy was there, and he was one of the people that said that people need to run on affordability, and he decided to use that opportunity to make it about identity. And that was the thing that I really noticed is I'm like, JD Vance is bringing these things up. Vivek Ramaswamy is bringing it up. We all know what Ben Shapiro did. He started to attack people individually. And I'm just like, but here's the thing. The poll that was released today from Polymarket shows that even after all of that, JD Vance has now expanded his lead in the presidential race. And that's including Gavin Newsom and AOC in that. And ultimately, what I realized is that the Democratic Party never created something like Turning Point USA. They never created something to counter that.
Nope.
And it's a problem. So as messy as everything is right now with TPUSA and all the corruption that's coming out, don't sleep on them, because as the numbers are showing right now, like they could still pull this off come 2020.
Absolutely.
No, they're not.
They don't. All right, guys, wait, we're going to debate that in a second. We're going to bring in another guest. This is a friend of ours who's been around also from the early days of the show.
He's in a not so good mood right now because the Packers really blew it against the Bears the other day.
Okay,
but,
so
you know, you gotta call a spade.
All right, but this is
a professor emeritus of democracy at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. He's a friend of the show. He is one of the writers, co-founders of the
21st Century Economic Bill of Rights.
Professor Harvey Kaye, welcome to Revolutionary Change.
Hi.
Good evening. It's been a while since I've seen your faces.
Well, you know, I invited you for our 5th anniversary, but it was your birthday, and so we couldn't be graced with your presence.
No, I appreciate the invitations. I'm always busy just on those days.
Of course you are. So
Yeah.
we are going around, and now you are the new person in the room. So what is your first grievance you were going to air for the end of the year?
My grievance is the year.
That's good.
It's been quite the year.
It's been a year.
Yeah. It's but it's, you know, my grievance isn't with, I mean, I just plainly despise the folks in Washington, but my grievance isn't with Trump and his, I mean, they're just disgusting pieces of shit. My grievance is, as it has been for decades, it's with the Democratic Party. And I was hoping, I was imagining, and why I should even imagine is crazy. I was trying to imagine that with the new leadership, I don't know Ken Martin, so I can't speak about him specifically, but maybe with the new, well, people were telling me I should expect things. But I don't understand why it is that the Democrats haven't figured out how to come up with any kind of vision whatsoever. Maybe was there some question as to whether or not the Democrats might actually blow 2026 a moment ago?
Well, I think you know, we've talked about this many times before, and I still think this gets back to what happened with Bernie in 2015 and 2016. He ran a true populist left campaign based solely on economics, and there's a reason he took off like a rocket ship. And it is a party that is not only archaic in terms of its leadership, but its thought process and its funding. And when you are a party that is funded hook, line, and sinker by corporate special interest money, and this is why I've always said Democrats are more dangerous than Republicans, because they go in through the back door. Republicans go right out the front door. And so in the case of the Democrats, they're still fully, in terms of the establishment, fully in support of Israel and what they're doing right now. And they're much more subtle about it. They're much more behind the scenes. Whereas on the GOP side, it's much more out in front. So the rage and the anger is much more demonstrable. Whereas we're now looking at it from the perspective of, okay, so who's the real populist left person that's going to come up and, you know, lead the charge on the Democratic side? But I got to tell you, Harvey, I'm at the point now where I'm not sure that the Democratic brand could be saved, because I don't know who is going to trust the party ever again in the even if it's AOC and she creates a firestorm. It's like, no, we've seen this movie one too many times, where it's like, where is the trust and the faith going to come from? And you come from one of the truly best populous states in the country. I mean, come on, it's the state of La Follette after all, you know. So when you think about Wisconsin politics and just the upper Midwest politics in general, which I think have the best political ideology in the country, to me, it's sad to see that it's come to this. But I think if we're not organizing along class lines, and we're not organizing no matter what party or affiliation you're looking to be in.
Yep.
Yeah, well, in that vein as well, as long as we've introduced class, which is my primary interest, I've also been terribly disappointed with the AFL-CIO and the labor movement generally. There's just there's no action. There's no talk of where do we go from here. There's no talk of what the labor movement's really about and why we're not doing it, or what the Democratic Party is supposed to be about. But look, I mean, it really is tragic and utterly ironic right now that when Americans have no less affection for democracy than ever, the Democratic Party doesn't know how to speak to people at all. Okay.
No,
So
this
what-
is them, Harvey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's as much as you're going to get from anybody in that position.
I have a question for
add
you.
too
What do you
with
think
that-
about the vacuum that's been created by both the right and the left for the Green Party?
I don't know. Sabby,
pro-
wait. Sabby, what were you going to say before I answer that?
I think Sabby
I-
has a thought.
and I have some things I can say about the Green Party as well. But I think that it's really telling that you don't have other Democrat politicians standing along with Ro Khanna right now with the Epstein files. Same thing with Thomas Massey. Like, where's everybody else? Why are they so silent on this issue? So it's kind of weird to me that they're not standing beside Ro Khanna with the Epstein files, because that's bipartisan and just that's an easy layup to me. With the Green Party in particular, I think the problem, and I've talked to the Green Party members about this on my show, and I've talked to Green Party candidates about this on my show, is that when I say you have to want to win, I mean that you got to go all out. So if we look at someone like Zoran Mandami, for example, Zoran's campaign, they said they knocked on 3 million doors. Okay, 3 million doors. That's how many doors they had to knock on for a Democratic candidate. So that means that if you're a Green Party, you got to knock on more than that. And I've had these conversations with Butch Ware, and he gets it and he understands it. And he said, yes, there has to be change. It seems as though there's a split there within that party as well, whereas you have people like Butch Ware and Jill Stein who want to do something different and want to win. And then you have another side of the Green Party that's more like that Howie Hawkins wing of the party, that doesn't want to jeopardize the chances, or didn't want to jeopardize the chances of like a Kamala Harris not being able to win in 2024. So I think there's an ideology problem there. But when I say you really have to want to win, I mean that, like, don't contact me 2 weeks before your election asking if you can come on and promote it. You've been running all this time. Like, that's what I mean. Like, don't make websites that look like they're from 1996. I mean, this is really easy stuff, man. All you have to do, you get the college students, they're really good with this. They can help you escalate these things and elevate it. But I feel like, again, that's what I mean when I say you really have to want to win. And the problem is some of them do, and others say, well, in the end, you're going to have to support the Democratic Party. Otherwise, the Republicans are going to win. So there's a problem there.
Okay.
Yeah, just to
For sure.
interject a little bit. So I 100%, you are absolutely right, Sabby. And of course, we see this on the right with the Libertarian Party. It's literally, it's just a mirror, the Green Party and the Libertarian Party. And what we saw a little bit of courting by Trump of the Libertarian Party, and it worked in 2024. It did.
Yes.
Donald Trump would not have been president in 2016 had it not been for the Libertarian Party, the Gary Johnson ticket, right? I've written so many threads on this about the way in which everyone ignored the Libertarians, and in states that it really mattered, which was Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona, they went over 5% for Gary Johnson, right? So they ignored those voters in 2020, and those voters went for Biden. Okay. Or they stayed home, one of the two, right? So again, this is just elementary politics, Moneyball politics. You have to understand electoral politics to know that, yeah, in certain states, a third party can throw you off, right? And so I absolutely agree. But the reluctance and the arrogance of the two main parties, and that is their problem, right? They're so unbelievably arrogant in that they don't want to appeal to a third party. They don't want to court those voters whatsoever. They think they are better than that. They think you must come to us because we have given you this option in which if you don't vote for us, then the world will end. That's their
Yep.
pitch.
All right,
Right?
so let me do a quick pitch since you did mention Butch, Sabby, and we are on a temporary hiatus from being able to talk to our friend Butch, but I'm going to put it right over my face, or it might be over Peter's face.
No,
Let's
it's
put
on
these over
yours.
my face. So, guys, our PAC is Revolutionary Change PAC, and Butch Ware is our first candidate, and we are really wanting to raise enough money to have a good ground game and help him out in California because it is a ground game. So we're hoping to be
Hold
able
on.
to.
What district?
Well, it's the whole state. He's running for
It's,
governor.
okay. There we go. All right.
But we'll prioritize like strategically, like where we'll have the best impact. But the point is, we're really looking to raise $100,000 by March so that we can have a lot of canvassers on the ground knocking doors for Butch. So, guys, check out the PAC.
And the other candidate?
Well, we will be supporting Shama Sawant as well, but right now, her election is November. So we're starting where we are.
And he's running Green Party, right?
Correct.
He's
He is
green.
running Green
Yeah,
Party.
and
I
Shama
have
is-
to, Harvey, I'm so curious because I know you're so smart and you're
He
so
is smart.
knowledgeable.
He is.
I could tell by I
could.
could tell by his back. Look at behind him. Anybody that
I know.
has that behind them, they're smart.
Yeah, the stack of
What
it.
do
Don't boost up his ego.
Oh,
He
come
doesn't
on.
need any
He's
more
allowed.
help.
He's
Look,
allowed.
No,
I'm
he's
so
good.
curious. Do you think a vacuum has been created enough at this moment for there to be a third party like the Green Party to come in and win some seats?
Well, that's a really open that in places there may be, but generally speaking, I don't see any future for third parties. I never have, and I just don't. I mean, I voted third party once. I voted third party. Well, actually, go back to the 70s before maybe some of you were old enough to vote. Well, likely. So when I first got back from England in 72, I voted for one of the socialist parties. I don't remember, but in 80, I voted for Barry Commoner, the Citizens Party, because I couldn't imagine.
Of course you did.
Could have been John Anderson. Was it John Anderson?
John Anderson was who was running, but he was running as the independent.
John Anderson was a Republican who was looking to run to the
Exactly.
Republican left of Reagan. That was all that was.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but
Well,
anyhow,
he didn't do a very
and then
good
I
job,
swore
and I
after
still
that
won in a
wouldn't vote.
landslide.
I mean, I never voted for Carter. I couldn't bear the thought of voting for Carter.
Good for
And,
you. You knew better.
You know,
I knew
I'll
better,
impress
yeah.
you.
Hold up. I don't understand. What do you mean you couldn't vote? What's wrong with Carter? I'm
You know-
a Republican, by the way. Okay,
Oh, I
I'm
didn't
a
know-
Republican who
that's
doesn't
why
like
Carter-
Reagan.
Well,
Do you
I
not
mean,
know what neoliberalism
everyone,
came
look.
from?
I mean, I'm not going to take any of the mud off of Reagan that I would throw, but
Okay.
it is the case that Carter was the first neoliberal president.
Okay.
And Reagan would never have won. In fact, to put it this way, I wish Ford had won in 76.
Okay.
Because then you never would have heard of Reagan.
You would never have.
Or
have
maybe
Reagan.
what we would have seen, what would have happened. But I'll impress you a little bit. So I just finished Teddy Roosevelt's biography by Henry Pringle, and now I'm reading Camelot's End by John Ward. And if anybody wants to know where the real split in the Democratic Party really happened, it was in 1980 when Ted Kennedy attempted to
Correct.
primary Jimmy Carter. And it was based on Ted Kennedy's progressive wing trying to not allow the Democratic Party to become the party of what ultimately became my party in the late 80s, early 90s. That's how it happened. It happened in 1980 because the split ultimately allowed Reagan to completely take over politics, and he did for the whole decade of the 80s. And then the way they came out of it was the DLC, and that's where Clinton came in the third way politics.
But
So-
so Harvey's filing a grievance against the late President Carter.
I've been filing this grievance on an annual basis, by the way. No, I mean, it's truly. I mean, everyone says, how can I
Do
say
you
that? kind of thing?"
publish thing? I'd like to do you have like a Substack or
I used to.
How many books do you have, Harvey?
I wrote 9 and I've edited 9. I'm right now. I'm under contract Alan Minsky of PDA and I are actually writing a book, The Case for an Economic Bill of Rights. I've got stuff on Common Dreams. I used to write a lot for Bill Moyers and a lot of other places, but
Just
people
Well,
pass
I'm
away.
honored to be in your presence. Here,
Well,
here.
really-
Wait, I have to say, one thing that's missing here tonight feels kind of stupid. I don't see anybody's name, so I can't exactly.
I know. I don't know why. I honestly
Got a lot of people here.
we have a lot of people.
Let's do a
Okay,
round
so
robin.
let's do a round. We're gonna do a round robin. Okay, so
I do want to say one thing though, Savvy. It does look like there's a lot of coalescing happening just on this one stream alone. Like there is an understanding that we have to be putting differences aside and recognizing this class war that we're in right now, and that we have to figure out how we're going to use our platforms to collaborate and bring more and more people into the coalition.
tell Harvey who everyone is. So does everyone see everybody in the same spots that I see everybody in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so next to us in the middle is Josie Gilbo, who is a veteran and basically a new woken revolutionary for peace. And that's not good at all.
Colin,
No,
come in
that's
and-
not good. Stop it. Stop
Well,
it.
blame Colin. He told me to
And-
come in here and mess with this shit.
Can I introduce myself, since I feel like this is a very
Colin, get
pivotal
up back
moment
to
of my life to
please.
introduce
Yes.
myself to Harvey?
Also, and when people are introducing themselves, will they tell me where they are geographically?
There we go.
Yay!
telling me that I can go back there
Hi,
and figure it
everyone. Harvey, I am in Ohio, but I am not from Ohio. Born and raised on the Bayou in Louisiana. Born and raised in a very conservative, devout Catholic family, Republican, mostly environmentally raised Republican. Joined the military at 18, spent 17 years in the military, was a former intelligence officer, worked for DIA, NSA, ODNI, doing intelligence work, and got out of the military after 17 years after the war in Ukraine and Russia popped off, because I was like, what's going on? I can't do this. And because I ended up having friends from Ukraine and Russia that told me the truth about actually what was going on. And then October 7th happened. And then I really just deconstructed all of the blind patriotism that I had, and found myself, I'm sorry, baby,
It's okay.
and found
okay.
myself here in a movement full of Democrats, liberals, leftists, Republicans, all different colors of all the wheels, fighting really for humanity. So that's me.
Very nice.
Amen.
Okay, next,
Where in Ohio
Anthony.
are you
Let
located?
Anthony
Sorry,
go
just
because
one-
but
Ohio-
yeah.
Where in Ohio are you?
Do you know where Canton is, the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 15 minutes from there, in the middle of nowhere. So if my internet breaks up, it's because I'm in the middle of nowhere.
That sounds
Let's-
glorious.
I'm
I've
gonna-
been there. I've been there to the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton,
Yeah,
Ohio.
it's actually,
Yeah.
I actually invested some stock in it. I pulled stock out of Apple and Disney after the BDS movement. I was like, I'm pulling all my stock out, and I started putting it into local things. So I put it into the Hall of Fame stock, and now I'm like zeroed out. But I tried.
But you tried that.
I
No,
want-
and that
I did
matters.
try.
I got to call an audible. Anthony, you will go after Sabrina because Savvy has to go in 5. So
Okay, let Savvy and
Laura.
Savvy, thank you so much. I know this is like, because Savvy runs a really good ship, guys. Like, honestly, Savvy, you and Kim Iverson are my two like go-tos when I want to like know what's really going on, because you guys do the best deep dives into stuff, and I so appreciate it. So I
You
know
only
this is
call me
really-
when you want to know what used to go on.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So Savvy, thank you so much. But yeah, let you introduce yourself to Harvey.
Oh, hi, Harvey. I'm Sabrina Salvati. I host Savvy Sab's podcast, and I'm also a part of Revolutionary Blackout Network.
Very nice.
Yeah. See, we're cross-pollinating.
Yes, we
Yes.
are. Anthony, first, could you introduce that lovable, adorable Poochie that's right next
Yeah,
to you?
let's see the dog.
Well, I
We
was
love
getting,
the
I was
dog.
getting
We
excited
love the
earlier,
split.
so he had to come up and check out what was going on.
Oh my goodness.
He's got the face.
Look at
Oh, yeah.
him.
This is my service dog Chester.
That's
Aw.
Chester. Oh my goodness.
He's so cute.
Yes.
Oh my
But he,
goodness.
when we were airing grievances earlier, he got concerned, so he came to check.
He came to make sure everything was okay. Does Chester have any grievances?
Oh, he's got a lot. I mean, he tried to. He's upset that he can't rip through the Christmas gifts. He tried to earlier, and
It's legitimate. That's a legitimate grievance. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wait, Sabby, did you know Anthony and Josie? Have you ever met before?
I've been
Anthony-
I've had the honor of being a guest on Sabby
Okay.
Shaw's podcast.
Okay, good. All right, good. Well,
I
thank you
I
so
know
much.
her, but I have not. I
Great
had not
great interview with
had a
her.
chance to meet her.
She's amazing.
Yeah, Sabby, you
I-
should have- anytime you want to talk to another veteran, you get Josie on there too. She'll give them a what for.
Mm.
Hey.
And I see you all the time, and I try to share your stuff all the time. So I love your stuff. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mel. I share your stuff a lot.
I know you
That's
do.
right.
It's so funny. You like see people, and it's like, I love her.
And that's a really interesting crossover right there. Because,
Yeah.
you know, Sabby, I think.
But we
you-
find common ground all the time. All
yeah,
the time.
and Sabby, I think you're left like me, right? Like you consider yourself on the left. So yeah, I think that's really nice that you guys find that common.
But I
ground.
also think that that's a reflection of the times we're living in where, you know, if things were going well, yeah, you could have the bickering over petty differences, but that's not the world we're living in. We're living in a world where we have to recognize
Unite.
what's in front of us. Exactly. Exactly.
have to
And it's a
unite.
long
Yes.
and it's along class lines. It's what it's
And-
always been about.
You have to forgive me. The founder of Revolutionary Blackout, his name.
Oh, Nick Cruz.
Cruz.
So I sat right next to him during the Independent Media Awards in Chicago a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I guess now. And we had so much fun, like cracking up. We had these like really, really stiff liberals sitting at the table with us, and we were laughing so hard the whole time. It was so fun. Yeah.
See, this is where people on the right and people on the actual left can all agree because none of us like the liberals. It's like we really kind of agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
if you
Okay,
ask
but
Nick, he'll
can
tell
we-
you we were having so much fun. We were
Now,
just, like,
what is the liberal?
dying
Can
laughing.
someone like actually? Because I
Okay,
hear
okay, hold on.
neocon,
Love
what? Okay,
Love
what is the
me,
liberal? though?
Love me, I'm
So-
a liberal. Wasn't that a very popular song many years ago?
Yes, it was. I'm blanking on. The
I
name
think
of it.
I think Josie, when we're saying liberal, like what I'm thinking of, and I think probably what Sabby is thinking of is, I think of like normie Dems that are just sort of like milk toast, just sticking with the Democratic program. They're vote blues no matter who. They're very comfortable, and things that make them uncomfortable are a no-no. And talking about
Yeah.
things, so that's who I think of as liberals, and unfortunately, that is a huge amount of the donor class to the Democratic Party. I mean, to both parties, really. I mean, they really are the same, except for
The best example.
Democrats are a little bit nicer about LGBTQ rights.
I'll give you a good example. The people that the people that want to show up at high-end fundraisers and speaking engagements with the likes of Hillary Clinton, the likes of John Podesta, the likes of the real president of the United States,
Anyone who
Tony
bought Kamala's book.
Tony Blinken, people like that, like those. That is the liberal class. This is a
Okay.
affluent, highly educated, lives in one of the major cityscapes of suburbs surrounding either New York, DC,
Gated communities.
Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, places like that.
Sabby,
That's-
was that a good, is that a good, I think, analysis of liberal or yeah?
So I think-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Nick would tell you that at our table, who, again, I'm not talking shit about anybody. Everyone was very nice, okay? But Jimmy Dore gets up, okay? And you know Jimmy, okay? He's a little bit like, especially with COVID, and this is what it was all about. It actually was about COVID. He starts cracking jokes about masks and about vaccines and about all the things. And these women were not having
it.
any of it.
Nope.
None of it. Okay. Like, holy moly. And Janine and I are like dying laughing. And then Nick and his brother were there with us. We're like, it's just hilarious. We are laughing way too hard at Jimmy's jokes, but not because we're laughing at his jokes, but because we're looking at the women sitting across from us and they are like pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a liberal.
Strong face.
To me,
Like,
a liberal, like
you know?
regardless of political side, Democrat or Republican, when I think of liberal, I think of someone like sending a bomber into Gaza with an LGBTQ flag.
Correct.
Or
Correct.
like a picture of Jesus for the conservative side. Oh, like here's some bombs, but also here's Jesus. Like,
Well,
Many
Danny,
of them
they're
also
both
made.
they're
it's like
both
they put
capitalists.
icing on top of a pile of
Well, they were the ones that covered their ears outside of the DNC
At
convention.
the, at the
They
convention in
said-
Chicago. Exactly.
yeah, they said, "Oh
Exactly.
no,
Because
the
that
kids in
makes them
Gaza."
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
them uncomfortable, and they
So
don't
can
like
Republicans be liberal
Thank
too?
you,
Because I thought
Sabby.
that.
Merry Christmas,
Bye.
Sabby.
Bye,
Merry
sweetie.
Christmas.
Oh, mention. Will you
Merry
mention to
Christmas.
Jay? Will you mention to Jay about that email I sent you? Would you?
JB.
Yeah, you're Jay. Just because I mean, I will too, but I'm just like mention that give him a heads up that I am in
Oh,
the
yeah.
look. Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Merry
Thanks, Sab.
Christmas.
Sweetie.
Okay,
Yeah.
now can Republicans be considered liberals under like what I just said? Because
Yeah.
is it just
here's the
Democrats
thing,
that can be
Josie, there's-
liberals, or can
Well,
Republicans be liberals?
there's neo-libs, and then there's neo-cons.
Cons. Yeah.
And what they have in common is they're all corporate, right? Like what they have in common is they all serve the corporate class. They all serve at the behest of capital. And that is what they're all in. That's why they don't go after each other. Because at the end of the day, they all serve
Can
the same
someone
purpose.
take it upon themselves to create some sort of Webster's dictionary or like political dictionary of all these words and what they actually mean? Because as someone who was in the military for 17 years, who moved throughout the country, these words actually mean different things
I
depending
know.
on where you are and who you're around. And I think when we're having these conversations, we're not like on the same wavelength because like conservative to me, sometimes when people are talking to me about conservatives, I'm like, as a conservative, I'm like, that's not conservative. But maybe conservatives in their area are that. So maybe we need to
It's
like break
relative.
it down.
I think, can I, if I could, I think that this is also a reflection of the death spiral that is capitalism, because in the end, what you're finding is people that, and again, and Harvey, I revert back to you because you lived in. I mean, listen, if you go back and you look at the last truly liberal Republican president, which was Nixon, and you look at the things that he accomplished as president, and you didn't know it was him. You just looked at a list of line items that he actually did during the time that he was in the White House. You wouldn't believe it if you wouldn't believe that it was him that did it. And
Right.
I bring this up because if you think about the media ecosystem that we are living in today and how, I mean, our channel gets suppressed like crazy. And it's all because when you speak truth to power, this is what you're facing. And so I thought, are there any clips that I thought would be appropriate for this show tonight? And I thought this one was actually very good because on the one hand, when you think about being a young man, Harvey, and knowing how important 60 Minutes used to be. I mean, 60 Minutes was always revered as the primary end of the week news channel.
It was
news
credible.
show that you would watch.
Yeah, it was credible for sure.
And then you think about what just happened last night, not just with Barry Weiss killing a very important story about CCOT. There's also this, and this was Bill Whitaker closing out the show. Brace yourselves.
Some words that don't roll off the tongue. Semi-quincentennial is one of them. But we'll get plenty of practice in 2026 with the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It's a chance to take stock. How well are we living up to our revolutionary ideals that all are created equal with unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Starting in January, we'll set aside time at the end of this broadcast to hear from leaders in the arts, science, and business. Expect familiar faces and some surprises. They have agreed to share their reflections on America. including how over the next 250 years we might continue working toward a more perfect union.
The last minute of 60 Minutes is sponsored by United Healthcare.
That part. That
There
part
it
funny.
is.
And that
Oh,
part
yeah.
is really funny.
Now, I'm willing to bet that when Walter Cronkite and any of the famous, Morley Safer, Ed Bradley, the famous newsmen of yesteryear, were ever doing a piece on CBS News, I highly doubt that they were taking sponsorships from Big Pharma and private health insurance. This is one of the primary reasons why we need a single-payer healthcare system.
Now, this is why we can't have nice things
How
right
about
here.
we have universal health care like all the others?
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
single payer. It's single
Right.
payer.
Do a single-payer system.
Yeah.
You want
I
to cut out.
mean,
the for-profit
I have
middleman.
met so many people on an international scale at this point that from Germany, from the UK, and I asked them, "Can you tell me about how your healthcare works?" And they start telling me, and I'm like, "Someone comes do your groceries for you after you have a baby under
Yeah.
your healthcare system?"
All sorts of cool stuff.
Did you
I'm
ever see
like,
that
I'm
video?
sorry, what? I went back to work
Yeah.
10 days after I had a baby. 10 days.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hey,
God, you guys are going to make me be the only one, aren't you?
no, we're not, because in the end, this is the only solution. It's not a
Yeah.
question
If
of
we have billions
You
to send to
guys.
kill people, we have billions to send to save people.
Obviously. Okay, I get it. But I will never support the implementation of a single payer health system when we have the corrupt government that we do. Obviously,
Agreed.
we've seen it. You absolutely see it in the
Yes.
health. Josie, and you, Tony, have been exposed to military healthcare. You know how
but there's a
how
difference.
insanely
No,
corrupted.
Mel, actually, my military having TRICARE, which is what we have underneath the military service, was 10 times better
It's
than
very good.
what I have now.
No. It's
I'm not-
No,
so
I agree.
If
I
that's
agree.
like
It's
what
Cadillac.
socialism looks like in terms of healthcare, I want to have that. But to your point about what works in other countries, it's not like just like cut and like it's very complex. For example, if someone wants to be a doctor in Germany, their education is paid for. So when they become a doctor, they're not in debt to have to make $500,000 a year to pay off the medical debt, because Germany
Correct.
pays for them to become a doctor. So they become a doctor debt free, and they're not looking to become like wealthy enough to pay off the debt. So it's a healthy cycle.
Well, I understand all of that, but I will push back on it. And the simple fact of the matter is that the U.S. is number one in innovation. We absolutely are. We have.
Are you sure? Because
better-
Israel
I
said
am
they are.
absolutely. Okay, first of all, Israel
said they
Okay.
are.
Israel can go itself. Okay. The US actually is, we are number one in innovation. Now, granted, most of our pharmaceutical innovation does come from state funded university research. I will grant you that all day
No,
long.
I think that the problem is that, you know, when you say we're so innovative and we're like the most, then why haven't we figured out how to take care of our people? But I don't understand.
How to cure
Well, because hold
cancer.
up. I will
cure
answer that
cancer.
question. The reason why, because there's no money in curing
No.
cancer.
No.
That's the
reject
problem.
that.
You got it.
There's
No.
no money. We learned that.
got
They
it.
told
It's
us
such-
that when they cured Hep
Not meant
C.
to be a
When
profit
they
industry.
cured Hep C,
Healthcare is
they
not
let
meant-
it. They let the cat out the bag.
Right.
that-
but
and they told us
healthcare
that.
is not meant to be a profit industry. And so long as healthcare is a profit industry, we will continue to circle the drain. Healthcare is a human right. That is one of the points of having a civilization. Otherwise,
I
you
will
could
agree.
live alone on an island. And every other country seems to have figured it out. So I
Yes.
completely reject
that the richest country on earth can't afford to take care of its people. That's absurd. I
Well,
also
no, I
reject
would agree that, but
the
I
austerity
disagree
myth.
with you in that the richest country on earth, which should have the most robust competition, okay? Because that's the thing. People always say, well, it's a capitalist problem. Well, actually, we don't have capitalism in our American healthcare system. We don't. We have
We
a
shouldn't.
monopoly.
It shouldn't be a competition. It shouldn't
No.
be
Well,
capitalism. It should
hold
be
up, hold up.
a right.
Hold up. We do not have competition whatsoever in drug distribution. Okay.
Capitalism
We
has
don't-
nothing
That
to do with
shouldn't be a
capitalism has
competition.
nothing to do with competition. Forget that.
Let the professor
Let the
speak.
professor
Let the
speak.
professor
We have
Capital
three
has
drug
nothing to do with that.
Now let
Now,
the professor
let the
speak.
professor-
we have three drug distribution system or companies that control 90% of drug distribution in the US. You have pharmacies signing onto contracts that they're not even allowed to read.
I know
That's not
all of those
capitalism.
things, but that's not it. The point is we're entitled to
Harvey,
healthcare.
get in here.
Yeah, tell us.
Harvey,
Harvey,
tell us
I don't know
what we
why
need to
people- I don't know
know.
why people think capitalism has anything to do with competition. I mean, competition,
I
and
do.
if it ever did, it was driven out decades ago.
Yes.
We live in a country in which
Fair.
the media is all wrapped up in an oligopolistic system. I mean, look,
Agree.
United Healthcare purvey. How many?
We're at the end
corporations
stages of
control healthcare?
capitalism where
But
that
you
doesn't
know,
work.
Okay, so and we're not going to go back to the days of every little business is going to.
So this isn't capitalism. This is what we agree on.
Well,
We
no,
all agree.
this is capital. No, this is capitalism.
Absolutely.
End stages.
This is capitalism in a very advanced and stage. Look, the thing about healthcare is you either believe people have as you were saying, Jen, you either believe people have a right. Look, the Declaration of Independence says a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you're going to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you could ask a 15-year-old, what does that take? Okay. They immediately will think life is in terms of the ability to live. Okay. And the ability to make sure that you have the wherewithal to live. Okay. Life, I mean, I don't know where Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, and the others could ever lay claim to the Declaration of Independence, but we've allowed that kind of thing to happen. Okay. Ask about liberty. Okay. What does liberty mean? Well, you can't be free. You can't be free without the wherewithal to be free. As FDR said it was very clear. Okay.
Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you're in need,
Go ahead. Go
you're
ahead.
not free. If you're in need, you're not free. It's as simple as that. And the pursuit of happiness, well, just imagine what it is. We ask our well, I'm not teaching right now, but we ask our students all the time what does it take for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? And they fully understood it, and they weren't even being outrageous about it. Why it is that the Democrats can't figure out that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness might well be the next basis upon which to run a presidential and a congressional election. It's just astonishing to me.
It's also.
I have something I want to say that just happened because this is so important. Mel, especially because I know you're going to understand. I am anti-vax. My 5-year-old almost died after taking vaccinations at 3 months old. The 3-month vaccination, the schedule that they get, it's like pin. You can look at it, it's like crazy how many vaccines they get. After that situation for 2 weeks where he ran 104.5 to 105 fever for 2 weeks, and they refused to. This was within 10 hours of taking those 5 vaccinations that are compiled in 2 shots. They refused to acknowledge that it was anything to do with the vaccinations. That's the part that scared the living shit out of me, that they would refuse to acknowledge that part. If they would have acknowledged that, oh yeah, this could be a side effect, I'd think differently. But after that, no. Now I had 2 more kids. I have 4 kids total. We are anti-vax. My husband takes my kids to get a physical because I'm Catholic. So, we use that, what is it called? What is it called, Mel, that we use when we don't want to get vaccinations as Christians?
Yeah, there's
Waiver.
religious exemptions.
Religious exemption. But you still have to do the physical. We go to the doctor. This is like 2-3 weeks ago. And she's like, oh my God, your kids haven't gotten any vaccines. And she was like, there's some important ones they should get. And I said, my husband was like, I'm gonna have them catch them up. I'm like, do not let him put a shot in my kids. What are you talking about? He puts the doctor on the phone. I said, what do you think's the most important thing? I'm open to hearing what you have to say. She says, Hep B. And look what just happened with Hep B. And that was the most important one.
Okay, so here's the thing. So you actually made a case against capitalism, okay? Because all of those doctors, those doctors are actually 100% compensated for those vaccines, right?
Yes.
And
not only those vaccines, all the medication.
Right. So I actually don't think in a single payer healthcare system, they're not compensated for the number of vaccines that they distribute, right? And unfortunately, in America's healthcare system, we reward all of the drugs that you can pump into someone. We give you rewards for. It's this screwy system. Okay. I have seen, number one, I believe that we live in a plutocracy. I don't think that we live in any kind of capitalist system whatsoever. I believe the rich rule us all. I believe the rich are heavily invested in the pharmaceutical industry and in the medical industry in general. And I believe that they capitalize and that is actually the reason why we'll never get any kind of 100%. I believe that people should be able to afford healthcare. It should be very, very inexpensive for normal people to go to a doctor to get regular medicine that they actually need, not bullshit that they don't need, but actual real medicine. I 100% believe in that. And if you can't afford that, then the government absolutely should provide it for you.
This is exactly why a single payer system, which, by the way, for everyone who's an austerity
What's that?
hawk,
Can you tell us what a single payer system is?
the simplest way to explain it is that you're removing the for-profit middlemen in between you and your doctor. The free market still applies. If you're the best doctor in Madison, Wisconsin, and everyone wants to go see that doctor and have a 3-month backlog to go see him, and he can make $1 million a year, nobody should be stopping him from making that $1 million. Where the problem comes into play is that United Health, Cigna, Aetna, Blue Cross, and then of course you have Johnson & Johnson, you have Pfizer, you have Moderna. In fact, that Moderna is, considering of the 3 vaccines that people were required to take, Moderna is indisputably a vaccine that injured a lot of people, and perhaps even a lot of people may have died. And the fact that there are no restrictions against that, a single payer system would cut off the power of big pharma at its head.
So what single payer is, Josie, is that the government would be the single payer. Okay, so that would be the single payer.
They wouldn't run it.
No, it's not that they don't. And the truth is, here's the thing. I don't claim that there's any one country that has it all right. I don't know that. But what I do know is that there's no other country where people have to file for bankruptcy because they get sick.
Or the only one.
That I know. I don't know. When I hear people saying, oh, well, then you have to wait for stuff. Let me tell you something. I have good insurance. I wait for shit. Okay. In this country,
I don't have any insurance and I never wait for anything.
Well,
what do you do? Self-pay? Are you
I self-pay, baby. I'm a self-payer.
I think I'm actually about to promote self-pay, by the way, because I think boycotting health insurance, if you can, is a good idea.
I've been self-pay for 10 years. Now I got a lot of opinions on this one. Okay.
We're entitled to health care. It's just part of
and in the
being
end, if you go by even the Heritage Foundation, the most conservative estimates that are out there, if you implemented a single payer system in the United States, the most conservative estimates is that it would save this country healthcare costs at least $500 billion a year, at least. So at this point, it should be the libertarian position that if you're going to live in a society, there is no other way to do this. And as far as I'm concerned, Mel, if you're in especially the libertarian red circles of people that are not gone, that they're actually with it, they actually care about this country, they want to see it succeed, this is our issue. This is the issue that, in terms of where the carrot has to be thrown to what's the policy that we have to concede on to left populism, it is single payer healthcare. That is.
I want to just say to
Wait,
you
hold
guys
on.
and to
I
the
have to go in a
Harvey
minute.
has,
but I don't-
and Harvey has to go, so we
but
have
I don't
to.
want to
Harvey,
leave
we
here
wanna
without
hear from you.
figuring something out. What do you do, Mel?
What do? Number one,
Not in
shop-
healthcare. I'm not talking about healthcare. In other words, what's your claim to fame in
my
this
my
universe?
profession. So I used to own a print shop. I used to own a T-shirt, a screen printing business. I sold that. I have a blog. I just
Where are you
post on
located?
North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay. And Anthony, for
That's
some
where
reason, you're the
Anthony's
one-
at.
Anthony,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
the-
Where he lived right up the street. I knew exactly where he lived. When the first time I ever wrote about him, I was like, I know where that is.
Oh.
Yep.
Anthony, where are you? Are you in North Carolina too?
I'm in North Carolina. I'm a little bit north of Sanford.
Mel, I need your help for Anthony. We'll talk after.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm a
where
little
are
bit
you?
north of I'm a little bit north of Fayetteville, probably between
Mhm.
Fayetteville and Raleigh, in a little town called Sanford. It's a older town.
Mhm.
But I guess my claim to fame is I was in the Army for 25 years. I was a Green Beret. I retired, and then shortly after I retired this year, I was recruited by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to go into Gaza to deliver aid, and I became a whistleblower for the aid sites that were being used as basically traps to entrap and then murder hundreds of Palestinians daily. And I came out and was a whistleblower on that, and that's kind of what I've been advocating for since I retired. I've become a full-time activist for Palestine.
Okay. Okay. Well, sorry, I can't stick around.
No, thank you for coming, Harvey. I was happy to hear your grievances. I'm always happy to hear your grievances.
Well, it's always the same grievance, basically.
I know, but you've been saying it really well for a really long time.
Well,
and
you
I
had to come on.
appreciate
Well, you
it.
had to come on here this evening, Mr. Larry David, because unfortunately we had to change the entire name of our channel due to Mr. Seinfeld. So
No, we used to call this our Festivus.
the spirit is still with us, though, and we appreciate you gracing us with it. And here's to the 21st Century Economic Bill of Rights. May we get ever so much closer to hopefully making some of it.
He knows I'm a big supporter.
Harvey, I
will
would
say-
love
I
to
will-
do more work with you and
Well, look, we've
hear
got
from you more and all the things
the
because
the
I
state
want to
of West-
learn.
Look, even now, the state of West Virginia Democratic Party has embraced it. It's on their website. It's their primary objective, you might say. Okay.
Good.
The state of California, I think, approved it, but they haven't gone public with it, something like that. Okay. The state of Massachusetts Democratic Party embraced it as well. Also, as you know, I was an advisor to Nina Turner, Marianne Williamson, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm doing some stuff, I think, with blanking all of a sudden because I'm thinking of the other people. Graham Plattner up in Maine.
Yes.
Okay, good.
He and I have been talking. He apparently he, in quotes, was a fan of mine, and so we've been talking. And so things are happening out there. It's just a shame that they're always happening with people the Democratic Party will do their damnedest to marginalize.
That's because it's real populist economic change.
Right.
Because the Democrats are corporate whores, Harvey.
Yeah.
Truth
If
be
Plattner
told.
can win in Maine, I think that's more, in spite of the fact he's not as cute as AOC and not as.
I beg to
I love
differ.
him. I think he's so
Oh,
cute
good. I'm glad you
I
did.
beg
Sorry.
to differ, my
Okay,
friend.
good,
That
good.
is
Very good.
with his t-shirt and his messy hair.
Yeah, but I have to say, I think that would be an incredible breakthrough because it would have literally been a Senate seat that's not of the likes of Fetterman. And anyhow, I think it's. I
Y'all
just
have to
think-
keep Fetterman. He's yours.
no.
Okay? No.
Yeah, not.
Sorry.
There's always disappointments. What can you
Nobody
say?
wants Fetterman.
That's for
He's
sure.
like the stinky kid. Nobody wants to play with the stinky kid.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Harvey.
Harvey.
There was a thing I saw the other day where Graham put a suit on for an event, and he then
Yes.
you saw that, and he said,
Yes, I did. He said, and unlike another guy, I'll actually wear it on the Senate floor on the
right,
regular.
because I want to be on the Senate floor.
Not
because
just
these
when-
things happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not just when Netanyahu shows up, right?
Exactly. Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Thank
Very
you,
nice talking to all
Harvey.
of you. Have a
Bye.
very
Nice
good-
to meet
It's
you.
an honor to
have-
be
those
to
of you
be
who are
able to be
Christians
on
and
this
celebrate
panel.
it, have a great Christmas. That's all I can say.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
And happy Hanukkah, Harv. We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you.
Thanks, brother. So there you go. And
One of
then
our
there were
favorite
five.
cheeseheads.
yes, and then there were 5.
But-
is it okay? So
I
I'm not
I
gonna-
just
I'm
want
not
you
gonna-
guys to know that on the phone live, no one is in the picture, Jen. It's like in between you and him. Like it like no
Oh, I
it-
see
you
what you're
get-
saying.
yeah,
on
like
the
it's just
vertical,
your shoulders.
on the
It's
vertical.
vertical instead
Oh,
of
I thought you
Yeah.
guys were in the same room.
We are now.
We
Are
are.
you-
Right now, today we are. Not
See?
normally, yeah. I got
Okay,
you.
okay. So it's like never. I've
No.
never seen you guys in the same room.
Me
So
we
I
used
see-
to always be.
So I see what you guys are
Okay.
saying in the chat, and I'm not going to say anything publicly, but is this true or is I mean, obviously this is on the down low for the time
Right,
being.
like
Is
Josie,
it,
is that
is this happening? Yes.
It is
We're
happening.
not
It's
saying
true. I'm just-
anything publicly.
okay?
Okay, but just wanted to be sure. So
Yeah.
I
Okay, you
want
guys have to, Anthony, you have to message me because I know so many people. It's crazy. Okay.
So that's why I was asking those really important questions to Harvey because there is a vacuum. Like we all know there's a vacuum right now. As someone who grew up as a Republican conservative, I know even my family. I just spent Thanksgiving with my family after 2 years. They cut me off because of my stance for Palestine. They are very, very devout Catholic people. They have their own brainwashing. But after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, they really started paying more attention to the reality of the state of Israel versus the
Yes.
Israelites and the things we learn in the Bible. And so they came to me like beginning to fall, apologize for how they treat me and cutting me off. They weren't hateful like my family, thank God. We don't call each other names.
No, not while we have
And
guests.
we're not hateful, but so we got back together. Thanksgiving came around, we spent it together, and like I feel like there's a vacuum because even my family, who are like staunch Republicans, are like, I don't want to vote for Republicans. Who's gonna
No,
fill the
I-
vacuum?
I
Who's gonna
was-
fill
I
the
was-
vacuum?
I was just
Yo,
explaining
12
this.
years. 12 years.
No way. I saw this and I don't believe that. Actually,
Motherfucker. It's
Wow.
12.
How old are you, Peter?
I'm 42.
No, shut up.
Oh, you look good.
You're not over 40, are you, Jen?
Good.
This is why I love him.
I thought you were in your. No, seriously, I thought you
No,
were like in your
serious.
30s, like 34,
Yeah,
35.
that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like 30, about 40, maybe.
54.
I was thinking 34, 35. Seriously.
Oh, see, and this is why I really like you because you are like.
He's
you just-
warming you up.
No,
for-
no,
yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
yeah.
He's
No, I
totally
thought I.
No,
Genuine.
no,
Girl.
the fact that it's genuine is even better because it's like you see me you see me how I want to be seen.
Tony, just out of curiosity, from a
No,
driving
girl, he
perspective-
sees you the way
And I
everybody
think you
else
have
sees
the best
you, and
smile
then-
ever.
Yeah.
No, honey, she got the best skin, and I need to know what she's doing.
Just if you all want to know just how shitty politics are, you want to know how shitty things are in South Florida politics. This lady was excommunicated out of the entire region to protect Debbie
Debbie
Wasserman Schultz. That's how bad it is down there. Just letting you know.
I do take
Well,
good care
you're
of my
welcome to
skin.
my house anytime.
You do clearly.
I would also,
Welcome in my
I would
home.
also say a couple of things. All right. It's a lot of cannabis. It's Pilates. I only drink water. I don't do caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I've never had coffee. And yeah. But that also I would say it's also somewhat genetic.
Tony, how far are you distance-wise, Sanford, North Carolina from North Georgia? Like how far would you say? And I'm talking North Georgia, not Atlanta. I'm talking, like,
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
I don't think very far at all.
Like
I've
4
never.
hours.
No,
maybe?
he's further than that
It's
because
like-
my
it's like
parents
4
are
hours.
4 hours from me. So he's probably more like 6. Yeah.
Well, it's 6 hours from where we're at to Atlanta.
Okay.
So that's about 5.
But I'm
maybe.
it's just a matter of
Okay.
instead of going south, you just go west. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm relocating
In 1 week.
in
Where are
1
you
week.
going?
I am moving to North Georgia.
I love North Georgia.
Not close
And
to-
the area
Yeah, I
in
love
which I
it there.
speak is not where it's the
Mel,
popular
where are
place
you?
for the people to go. And I don't necessarily want to give it away either, because I like the fact that
Know
not a lot of
about
people know about this little. But my closest city is Chattanooga, so it's really close to the
Mhm.
Tennessee border,
Tennessee. Yeah.
That's
and
not far
too
from him.
and not too far from Alabama, right? So it's
Mhm.
kind of That's where I'm
Chattanooga
going.
is such a
You're
nice
at this
town.
like
I love it.
crossroads of all
I
those
am.
states.
That's where I'm going,
Yeah.
and my goal is to build a food forest, a retreat, have it be part of a nonprofit that I'm working on, have there be like Airbnbs where people can come and rent and stay in the food forest, and like this is what I'm.
I have to say, as we conclude this, what is almost a 2-hour conversation with most of the people who are here. Again, we thought
It
that
was a
this was
cocktail party.
It was. I mean, listen, honestly, I thought it was going to be, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes here or there with some people popping in and out. But the fact of the matter is, there is real camaraderie here. And that is very important because we don't agree on everything. But that's great because we agree on these core principles in terms of our country. And that, probably more than anything else, is how we're going to get the hell out of this quagmire we're stuck in right now.
We need to end the Zio state.
We do.
We
That's
need to
top
end the
priority.
Zio state
That is
first
top
and
priority.
foremost. Like
But
that's-
it's not just the Zio state, and I was trying to say it's the war state, right?
It is.
Because
It's the
again,
Military
Israel,
industrial
we saw-
complex.
Right. We
It is.
see with Ukraine, what's going on in Ukraine it's so gross.
It's a
like-
genocide that we don't even know about.
Not
that
only is it
nobody
a
ever even
genocide-
talks about.
And again, it's a genocide,
Wow.
and it's a genocide on behalf of BlackRock,
No.
which is the other layer that when this first happened, and everyone was let me tell you, living in South Florida at the time,
There
and
were a lot of
everybody
Ukrainian
rolling out with
flags.
those Ukrainian flags. And the first thing I looked into is, what is the interest here? There is at least 8 trillion worth of natural resources in Western Ukraine, and that's why we want to suck them into NATO. That was all that this was about. And Putin said, "You're not doing that," and they said, "Oh yeah." And he said, "Yeah, watch." And that's exactly why we're here, because it's not about whether people get mass slaughtered. It's about how much richer can we get? That's really all it's about.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. I hate Putin. I hate everyone over there. I hate all of these people. I do not like them. I don't want anything to do with them. But the drone warfare, the images that have come out, the videos that have come out are some of the, it's like, it takes my breath away when I'm watching this stuff. I'm like, this is dystopian. This is real Black Mirror shit that we're watching right here. This is I've heard stories from battlefields, and nothing can prepare you for when you watch one of these drone videos.
I will tell you that to your point, Mal, I just spent the last week in Puerto Rico. I went to I didn't mention it up until this point. I went to Puerto Rico to do investigative journalism, to look at how is the military escalating on the island of Puerto Rico as it pertains to this war against Venezuela. So I actually flew to Puerto Rico, and I've been there the past week, and I went to the military bases, Roosevelt Roads. I went to Camp San Diego Joint Training Center. I had a drone person there getting drone footage. And when you talk about drones, they are lining up drones in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is the forward operating base for this war we are about to go to against Venezuela. What I discovered going to Puerto Rico blew my mind. I literally needed a day or two just to build myself out of the depression of the reality of what is happening. I went there and I thought I was just going to discover these like little things. No, what I discovered was horrible. I talked to the local people. They have no idea that their island is being used as a forward operating base to go to war against Venezuela. These people, by the way, who they see as their brothers and sisters in Latin America.
Yeah.
It was something I couldn't even touch on. I was trying to probably keep it
So
light.
we all agree about Venezuela, don't we? Isn't that fascinating?
I
And-
actually, Jen, I would love to come back on and tell you about what I have learned this past week
Yes,
in Puerto Rico.
we can definitely do that. Come back on and
Yeah.
definitely talk like
100%.
Venezuela.
Yeah, I think
Right.
the talk about Venezuela in depth needs to happen also, because if you look at the
Yeah.
latest 3 weeks ago, the president is the one that establishes the National Security Strategy, or the NSS. And this president, in the National Security Strategy that he has signed, specifically states that the United States will dominate in every realm the Western Hemisphere. The president has come on to say that in Venezuela, we want our land and our oil back. And it does not, just like in Gaza with the Greater Israel Project, it doesn't end with Gaza. It doesn't end with the West Bank. It doesn't end with Venezuela. It doesn't end until Donald Trump gets his fingers into every
And it's
country in the
not
global
even
south.
Donald Trump.
It's
Yeah,
not
I think I
exactly.
wish it were
Tony,
just
it's
him.
not even Trump. It's not even Trump, Tony. This is
Well,
being
his name on it in terms of
I
the
agree.
use of the nation. I know it's not him, but it's got his
It's
name.
like this U.S.
Listen, if you're
imperialism.
Listen, if you're going to keep
Yeah.
talking about it, I'm just going to come out and tell you we're going for the oil, and this is the way it is. We have a lot of money to make, and I've got a lot of debts to pay off. Believe me when I tell you.
I mean,
I
but
don't
him
wanna-
saying that, by the way, Josie, when
I'm
it's
so
coming
sorry,
to
guys.
Trump-
I have to go.
Thank
I'm
you,
so
Mel.
sorry.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
Mel.
Bye.
Christmas.
Josie, when we talk about caucasity, when you see the president telling the world that Venezuela stole our land and our oil, and he talks in that manner, that's caucasity. Okay. That's this level of like, they truly do believe that this Western hegemonic thinking is far superior, and that they are just allowed to just go around and dominate the world. And so far they do. That's what we do. That's us. You guys didn't realize it until more recently, but this is what we've
well,
been
my
dealing with.
experience going to Puerto Rico, I went to Puerto Rico underneath this like small bubble of I need to figure out what does the military escalation look like? What is actually happening on the ground, right? Okay, and I had a drone team with me so we could see through footage. What I learned there was beyond the military bubble of things.
Yeah, it's like the killing fields.
They are stealing their land. It's called eminent domain.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Wait, you're talking in Puerto Rico?
In Puerto Rico.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh, we've been violating them since what year did we decide that that was our colony?
Okay.
Long time.
Do you know how I recognize? I didn't know about this. Okay. And like, forgive me for being like so blinded, but the way I recognize what's happening in Puerto Rico and the land theft and expropriation of land and stealing the land of the indigenous people is from what I learned is going on in the West Bank.
Okay. So
And
now
I
do you
was
see it everywhere?
oh,
Do you see it everywhere
okay.
now?
Colonial power. This is colonial strategy, not U.S. strategy. Colonial strategy, because whether it's the U.S. empire or the Roman Empire or fill in the fucking blank empire,
Right.
this is what they do.
Yeah, I love that you're so cute to me. Like, you're so young and fresh and new to this. Like, I feel like I've been on this bandwagon for so many years, and I love it when somebody like gets it. But
Considering
I just
what-
wait. Before you say that, I just want to say
just
also
so sad.
consider.
Honestly, I'm decompressing.
Well,
I
it
have a
it's
group.
hard.
It is. I have a group of Republicans that, you know, we have this like open dialogue and we argue a lot, obviously, because I lean more towards a different side, I guess. I don't know.
Yes,
than
you
most-
believe in self-determination of all
Yes,
people.
I do.
Well, when
And
you
so-
believe in self-determination of all people, it is what it is. But I was just
Yes.
going to tell you, pay attention
you.
also. I don't know how much you've done deep diving into Hawaii.
and how much they
Yes,
still
I
want us
have,
to.
and Pearl
Pearl Harbor.
Harbor, and what
They
happened,
want
and
us out.
I
Very
want you
much so.
guys to follow me. Some things that I post on Eisenhower Media Network. That's where I work. I work for full time. I work for Eisenhower Media Network. It is a think tank of former military and intelligence officers who are like anti-war.
You know we have them on regular, right?
I
You
don't.
know that, right? Yeah, Matthew
Where-
Ho's a friend.
Colonel Wilkerson.
I know Matthew's a friend. We have Dennis,
Dennis,
Colonel
Fritz.
Wilkerson. We've had a
Dennis,
bunch
yes.
of yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Karen,
I am an
White House-
Eisenhower Media Fellow. I don't know if you guys know that, but I am posting things right now about what's going on in Puerto Rico because I didn't know. I didn't know. And now I went there for over a week and I figured it out. Puerto Rico is a forward operating base for this war against Venezuela.
Yes.
They are building a command and control center in Puerto
Shock.
Rico. The people have no idea. That's the part. And also because they don't have a statehood or like independent sovereignty, the people on this island literally have no voice.
Oh
No
no.
voice.
Oh no, you don't like that they have a representative that doesn't get to vote?
No.
They have a representative that doesn't, like DC.
No.
They just don't get to
They
vote.
don't.
I do want to end this evening on a fun note because
We need to do our poll. We have to finish with our poll. So,
Okay.
Colin, if you would please, we're going to put out the poll. Let's bring that up one more time so everyone could have an opinion.
Someone
3.
said, did she go to Viesquez? No, but I know all about it.
Okay, so everybody, we're going to put it in the comments. We're going to have our poll, and you're going to vote for which Ben on the midget horse. And again, this is Candace Owens was kind enough to share that with us. Just the premise of it, like just
Two
her
is kinda
saying
funny.
it really created this whole world of fun. And yes, somebody has already shown him as Lord Farquaad, which is who I show Elon Musk as Lord Farquaad
Yes.
because that's a small man on a horse, but that's not a midget horse. These are what we would call midget horses, I suppose. So anyway, guys, vote for your favorite 1, 2, or 3. I'm just curious. I know my favorite, but I'm not going to say until we have a vote. But yeah,
Now, speaking of somebody who we know does a phenomenal job on Capitol Hill, and that, of course, is Medea Benjamin.
Medea.
And if anybody is a fighter, no, we invited her. She couldn't
we've had
make it.
Medea on a few times. We know her also from down here because she's from down here.
So
she taught me everything I know.
That's
But
one
I'll
hell of
tell
a
you what,
mentor.
she didn't teach you everything she knows. I could tell you that.
Not
No,
yet. Not
not
yet.
yet.
Not yet.
Medea knows things.
That's right.
She is
Yeah,
my
what's-
mentor.
Yes, she does. Medea
She
is,
is fierce.
Mhm.
She is the
Can I just say,
reason
last time I was up in the
exist.
Capitol, I was spending the day with Medea to kind of shadow her in terms of learning from her, because I've done some things in Congress, but she just has this from all of her experience, just this organic way of just
Oh yeah.
she can get under someone's skin in the most polite way that
So-
and we were at this hearing outside of the Judiciary Committee, and they were actually having the hearing on U.S. involvement in the elections in Uruguay. And so we were standing there, and the intern that was not, allowing people in or not, because you're allowed to go in there, except sometimes they'll post these interns as these lackeys to basically give you this prescribed speech of, oh, I'm sorry, at the time there's no seats available and this and that. So Medea comes up and this person tells her that, and she just kind of like ducks under his arm and looks in, and there's empty seats. And she says, oh, there seems like there's plenty of empty seats to me, so I'm going to go in and sit down. And he's like, well, I wish you wouldn't, because, I'll get in trouble. And she was like, well, I'm sorry that you're going to get in trouble. And so she goes in there, and then Capitol Security asks her to step out. And then the Capitol Security guard is standing in front of her, and he says, ma'am, I'm sure you can see that, there's not a lot of room in here. And she was like, well, I can't see it because you're standing in front of me. So if you get out of my way, I can see. So he gets out of her way, and she just walks right back in. I'm just like, she's just so good at it that it's
She-
like, she's she's become almost a figure, like a staple
Symbol.
in the halls of the Capitol. She's just such a presence, and she's so good at what she does, and she's so knowledgeable of things that it's intimidating. I'm intimidated
Well,
by
I'm gonna
Medea
tell
when I'm
you,
with her just
Tony.
because of her presence.
Tony, she is filled with love.
Oh yeah, she's a light. But
I
she gives
met
good,
her
though.
and I was like, she just, and you know, she's my inspiration. Her and Anne Wright from
Oh,
Code
Anne's
Pink.
great. I've met her too.
Well,
Yes.
I believe
I
that-
cried in
Yeah.
Anne Wright's arms and Medea's arms the first time I ever went to Congress to try and tell them John Fetterman waved a fucking sorry. Shouldn't do
That's
that.
okay. No,
Waved
we're
an
allowed to-
5 Our Fathers and 5 Hail Marys for your penance.
Thank you. I'll do it. Waved an Israeli flag in my face, and I was like devastated. And Anne Wright, Medea Benjamin were like, I know this is something you never thought existed in reality, right? Like, this is reality. And she gave me this love, like, despite the fact that I was a Trumper and a Republican and this total just, I don't know, fucking brainwashed person. Excuse my language. They still accepted me. And that part, right, is what I want to carry on. That part where someone comes to you with all this environmental programming and all this environmental, like propaganda, and they're like, they have a little bit of doubt, and they're like, I have a little bit of doubt about the things that in my life have been told to me. And you accept them with love. You accept them with grace and mercy. And you tell them, thank you for asking the question. And let me tell you the truth. Because had I not had that from Medea Benjamin, a Jewish woman fighting against Jewish supremacy, I don't think I'd be here today.
Yeah.
I don't think I would know the truth today.
Well,
Medea is definitely one of the greatest like role models in the anti-war movement and what we're doing.
so to show you just how disconnected,
saint.
yeah,
My
and somebody,
saint.
yeah, and to show you just how disconnected the Zio state truly is, Rabbi Yaakov Menken, the executive VP of the Coalition for Jewish Values, was shouted at by Code Pink activists yelling "Free Palestine." Here's what really went down.
To the program,
Georgia.
Zev Brenner, it's always great to have Rabbi Yaakov Menken with us, the Executive Vice President of the Coalition for Jewish Values, and he had an interesting confrontation that went viral with somebody shouting "Free Palestine" because he has a beard and a yarmulke.
Free Palestine.
Yeah. See?
Free Palestine.
You knew I'm Jewish, and therefore you went free Palestine. You found a new pretense.
What?
to hate
Free Palestine?
Jews.
That has nothing
you
to do
found
with hating
only
Jews.
because you saw me because I'm Jewish. Absolutely.
I said
you saw,
Free Palestine.
You only
I say Free
yelled
Palestine
Free
every day.
Palestine
I'm
because
Palestinian.
I'm Jewish.
No.
Yes,
I'm
you're a
Palestinian.
racist barbarian. That's what you are.
If you think that, you're the racist,
Do you
not
understand?
me.
No, excuse
Get out of my
me.
face.
Where's that name?
Get out of my face.
Greco-Roman colonialism.
What does Free Palestine mean?
Free
Anyway.
Palestine means Greco-Roman colonialism. We should get rid of the Jews.
What the hell
the only
is that?
freedom, the Middle
It means
East,
free from
the
Israeli
only
occupation. That's what it means.
pro-values
It means
country
freedom
in the
from
Middle East.
occupation of
you
Israel.
found a new reason
By-
to hate Jews for being Jews.
I don't hate Jews.
While claiming,
She's a
yeah,
Jew.
exactly.
She's a Jew.
That's
She's a
right.
Jew.
The Germans also
She's
think
a Jew.
we don't hate the Jews.
Right,
for
and Nazis
religion.
also
We
use
just hate them.
Nazis also use this
You are the-
propaganda.
You are
Nazis
the Nazi
also
propagandist.
no.
You found
You
a
are
new
doing
reason
the
you
same
yelled
thing.
Free
If
Palestine
you
to me
support Israel,
because I'm Jewish.
No.
You didn't target
No.
me because you know anything about my policies.
You're sick.
You targeted
You're
me because
sick.
of this.
She's
You
Jewish
went
herself.
after me as
She's
a
Jewish.
racist.
She's
Yes,
Jewish.
he is a racist, anti-Jewish racist. I
That's
know
your
exactly
propaganda
who
all the
Medea is.
time?
What do you think?
You're-
Medusa over here. I know exactly who
You
she
are.
Medusa.
Medusa.
He calls Medea Medusa. Yeah.
Do you know the woman that he's talking to?
Is that
her name-
Anne?
Her name is Summer.
Oh,
she's
okay.
She's a Palestinian woman.
Okay.
And from the West Bank, actually. And she is the first Palestinian I ever met in my life.
That's interesting. That's cool though.
And she is my dear sister now.
Yeah. Well, this guy's just disgusting. I mean, he's
This guy, well, they tend to be.
Oh, and they also like it, but here's the thing, and Anthony, I'm
They
sure you've
don't have-
noticed this as well. They get very aggressive with women. They
With women.
never get aggressive with men. It's very,
Very.
very common.
It's
Have you noticed that?
noticeable. They get very, very like to me. I've in all the times in going to Congress and speaking. I mean, even to Randy Fine, when I approach him and talk to him, they
How do you get
cower.
around
But whenever Medea or Hazami or Josie, says something, they get very, very aggressive, and it's noticeable.
you know why?
Why?
You know
Why?
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 Well, these are cowards. These
Yeah.
are very emasculated, cowardly men that don't feel comfortable speaking up to other men, but they feel perfectly okay getting all in a woman's face because they feel like they have the dominance in that situation. So these are very cowardly people.
Yeah, just cut off their testicles already. Seriously.
Sick.
No, you
Israel
are.
is
I'm
a
gonna
racist
tell you, I have to
ethnic
go,
state.
guys. I have to go.
Josie.
I want to show you guys this little thing that if
Yeah,
you
it's really
can,
the hatred. Yeah,
That's
Okay,
beautiful.
I see it. It's a cool pin. It's got the arrows crossed. What does it say? I can't see what it says.
Tony, do you
it
want to
says
tell?
"De oppresso liber." It is to free the oppressed. That is the
That's
motto
awesome.
of the U.S. Army Special Forces. So, U.S. Army
My-
Special Forces was actually created under John F. Kennedy
Yeah.
in the 1960s as a new form of warfare. But our motto is to free the oppressed. So, after I protested in Congress, I had a lot of support from veterans and the like, but there were some Green Berets that had said, that's anti-Semitic and et cetera. And I'm like, why? I was like, I thought our motto, and we were trained and selected and sacrificed to free the oppressed. Well, if there is a people that are oppressed, it is the Palestinians, and
Right.
we should not remain quiet. So yeah,
So I got this pin from
but
my
yeah, in
dear
the halls of
brother,
Congress, there
Anthony.
it is not lost on me that the aggressiveness towards women is just, it's palatable. It's very
Yeah.
noticeable.
They're very misogynistic too, completely.
I wanted to show you this because Anthony gave it to me.
Oh, that's so nice.
And Anthony has become my family, and I keep Anthony. I want you to know, going into the new year, that I keep this oh my god! And I got a new cat, you guys.
Oh, well, we want to see the new
convinced my
cat.
husband to get a cat.
Oh, look at
This is my kitty. Oh my god, he was a stray, and he was just like running.
Yeah,
around
to
the
you, you
neighborhood.
rescued him. To him, you kidnapped him.
Yeah.
So there's the difference right there.
He loves it. Oh, he
Oh, he's
loves it. But anyway, I just want to wish a Merry Christmas to everyone, and anyone that is listening. I hope that in the new years to come, that their resolution be filled with love, and that we spread love, because there is so much hate and darkness in the world. What better to combat it with love and forgiveness and understanding for people that we may not understand, right? Or
You mean
agree
we should
with.
have Christ consciousness around the time of Christmas?
I mean, I don't want to like project Christ consciousness onto people, but I pray
You
for
should.
Christ consciousness, because I do believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ, and
Me too.
I think he gave us the manuscript of how we can raise the consciousness. So I
Amen.
amen. I implore all of you to seek that, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, happy all the things that you believe in. And I love you guys.
Josie.
We'll see you in 26, Josie.
Have a good New Year,
See you
Josie.
guys.
So, Tony, no surprise. It's just us.
We're gonna finish.
Let's finish it out.
I'm
been
ride or die.
killing- They've been
Jews
genociding
ethnically
people for
cleansed
2
from
years
Jordan.
now.
Do you know there are more
Do you know what
Arabs? There are
genocide
more
is?
Arabs in the
Even the
Knesset.
UN,
Yes, and you know
even the
what?
UN
That
and
means you
human
believe
rights.
Jewish lives have no value. You just declared, you just said it. In order
Really?
to accuse
Really?
Israel of genocide in
Uh-huh,
Gaza,
uh-huh.
you have to believe that rescuing the hostages wasn't
All
a
the hostages
legitimate
are gone
goal.
now.
You
All the
have to be a
hostages
racist.
are rescued now.
Yeah, and
they're
there's no
still
fighting.
killing
It's-
people.
there's no
You're
fight.
still
You're
killing
never-
people.
When Hamas
Uh-huh.
shoots at Israel,
Stop
Israel
using
shoots
this
back.
excuse.
Stop.
Go get an education.
Hamas is
Stop
genociding
using
their
this
charter.
excuse.
You're a
Stop.
racist
So the whole
barbarian.
world is
You're a
racist?
genocidal
The whole
racist.
world is racist?
Guess what? There's
What?
100 times more
The
anti-Semites
UN
in
is
the world
racist?
than there are
The
Jews.
UN is
And
racist?
You yelled,
You are
"Free
sick.
Palestine to
You,
me
the
because
UN,
I'm
the
Jewish."
UN is
You
racist.
started this
The UN
argument
said it's a
because I am a
genocide.
Jew.
The UN
You
said it's a
started this because
genocide.
I'm a Jew.
That's the only
You
thing you
started
could
this
say
because it's
because
the
you
only
want
thing
people to
that's
feel
relevant.
sorry for you to use your religion.
hate. You didn't- I
Judaism
didn't say
and
anything about my
Zionism
religion. I
are two
said
different things, buddy.
nothing. I said
Yes.
nothing.
Judaism
You
and
yelled at me
Zionism.
'cause I'm a
I didn't
Jew.
yell at you.
You are
I
a
said
racist
free
Such a
Palestine.
victim.
If free
You're not
Palestine
gonna get an
offends
apology
you,
for it.
it's
You're a
because you're a
disgusting
racist.
human
You are a
being.
racist.
And now he gets in her face.
Okay.
Because probably with the Zionism is not Judaism, that he heard that, and that definitely.
I want to
got
see,
under
like,
his skin.
where does this end?
He's about to talk with this. This is going to be funny. I just wanna
Okay.
get to this
All
one.
right.
Yeah,
You are a
uh-huh.
racist.
Good.
Yes.
Put this up on YouTube.
I will put it
Disgusting
everywhere.
person you are.
Rabbi Menken, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me back on your program to, and to discuss this particular confrontation.
What happened?
So this was on Wednesday. I was in Longworth House office building for various business. That was the day of the congressional menorah lighting there in the Capitol, and so I was waiting for that event to take place, and for when it was time to go over to the Capitol itself. I had some meetings with staff of a representative, so I was just going down to the Longworth cafeteria to sit down, and I'm going one way, and who should come the other way but two members of Code Pink, Medea Benjamin herself, and an Arab she was with, who identified herself as a
Arab.
Palestinian during that confrontation.
Oh my God. And an Arab.
And this Arab that they
she
brought in
was
off the
with.
street. This Arab they brought in off the street.
But he's
Ugh.
not a bigot.
No,
But
definitely
he's not a bigot.
You are a
Well, see,
racist.
another thing that this reveals in that this context of religion constantly where you hear Islamophobia, and that it's more than that. It is racism for against Arabs, because the majority of Muslims in the world don't live in the Middle East. They live in Southeast Asia, between Indonesia and Malaysia and India and Thailand and Cambodia.
Correct.
Yeah,
They're
but
not
now you
Arab.
get-
So
yeah,
this
but
whole
Tony, now
idea
you're
of
getting-
this, it's
Yeah, but
really
Tony, now you're
Arab
getting into
hate.
facts. But now you're getting into facts, and this guy has feelings.
Well,
Don't you
no,
have
because
any?
his issue isn't with Muslims. Not really.
That's right. Not really.
No, his issue is with brown people.
That's right.
So, but when we talk about Zionism and we say, oh, it's Jewish supremacy, yes, it's definitely Jewish supremacy, but it is also white supremacy.
It is
And
deeply,
people forget
deeply
that.
rooted in racism.
Correct. You know what's interesting, and I don't know how much you know about like the history of Jews in Europe before World War II, but Jews were not considered white. Jews were not considered white people, which is why they were considered Semites, even though they're not. I mean, they're not Semitic, but they weren't considered white, which is why the term anti-Semitism is a European term
Yes.
designed to be hating people that are not white. The irony that the Jews now are calling people like anti-Semitic when they're not even Semites, or this guy doesn't realize he's a bigot. He doesn't.
I think
but he's
he
a Jewish
does.
supremacist. But
I think he does.
I don't know.
I just think that I've always said Zionist Jews believe that they are culturally, ethnically, religiously, and socially superior to everybody else. Hence, that's what real racism is.
Observing this
And
more
she
closely
yelled
now.
the
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that as we watch this, observing this dynamic more closely now, since I have returned from Gaza and really looking at this more, I feel like if you ever watched that show that used to come on TLC called Intervention, and they would, the camera crew would follow around someone that was a drug addict, like deep addicted drug addict. And as they're following this individual around, they have no idea that they're the subject of the show. They have no idea that they have a problem, that they're the addict that they're showcasing in their addiction episode. And these addicts will just walk around like it's just a normal day. And you'll see family members that believe in this fantasy with them of like that, yeah, you're okay. The enablers and the Zionist mindset is like a drug, and it is extremism. And then you have American politicians that are their enablers, and then you have the rest of the world that's like that group that's sitting down in the room when the drug addict comes in for the intervention, who's all sitting there and like, yeah, you've got a problem. That's the rest of the world. And on the couch is Israel's drug dealer, America, Israel in this Zionist trance, and the rest of the world saying, you have a problem. And them sitting there saying, oh, no, I don't. You have a problem. Classic, like codependency coping. And it's like, what is wrong with the rest of the world? Or I should say, what is wrong with the US lawmakers that are the enablers of racist Zionism? Like the things that Randy Fine in the U.S. Capitol, in the U.S. Congress building, and in America, when he gave his comments on the floor, I was there, and he said that someone had said about the death toll, and he said about the children that were being killed, and he said, yes, and it would be better if we could double it. This is an American lawmaker in the U.S. Congress saying these things, and we as a people allow him to stay in office, allow him to tarnish our house. And that's what I tell people. That Capitol, when I go to that Capitol, I walk through the halls of that Capitol and I treat it like it is my house. It is our house. It is not theirs. And when you have evil, vile people like Randy Fine or this individual who say things, who romanticize and celebrate the killing of children and innocent people in our Capitol, we should not tolerate that.
Well, and just so you know what this is, when you're talking about like the codependence, what you're talking about is this is called Darvo, what this man is doing. Okay. And Darvo is a tactic that is really used by a lot of people, but it's a toxic, narcissistic tactic. And what Darvo stands for is deny, argue, reverse victim offender. So basically you switch it, you're the victim, the other person's the offender. That is what a narcissist does. That is what these people do. It's called Darvo.
Let's finish it out.
Yeah.
Arab woman yelled "Free Palestine" as I went by. This is about the third time I've been accosted with this particular phrase. And so this time, especially because it was, I knew who it was. I knew it was Code Pink. So I just turned around and went after them.
Code Pink is. They may not be familiar with it.
Code Pink is a rabidly anti-Israel women's organization run by a Jewish woman named Medea Benjamin, perhaps better named Medusa Benjamin.
Got her there.
The snake from Greek mythology. Because this is their modus operandi. They claim to not be an anti-Semitic organization. But of course, they only yelled "Free Palestine." And this is what I said immediately. When I wheeled on her, I turned around and said, you only said that to me because you knew I was a Jew.
See, I would have answered
because you're wearing a black gown.
That moment. I want to say, because I thought this was weird when they did that in the hallway, when he approached them, when he said, you only said that because I'm Jewish. I would have said, yes. And people like you are the biggest part of the problem. So the fact that he thinks somehow that's like a flex to say, well, they only said that to me because I'm Jewish.
And whether or not they did or didn't, I would have said, yes, I did. Because Jews are now being affiliated with the Holocaust because of people like
And
him.
of course, if he's walking around there dressed the way that he's dressed and he is lobbying Congress, everyone knows he's there for support of Israel, not the other way around. If anything, if she said free Palestine and she was wrong, you would have said it free Palestine back to her. But no, you didn't. So clearly,
Exactly.
you only proved her correct.
Well, anybody who thinks saying free Palestine is anti-Semitic,
An attack.
but
They
anybody who
attacked
thinks
me.
that is a bigot by definition, because you feel someone else's freedom is
Or
a
a
threat.
black hat, you're wearing a beard, so people can tell you're Jewish, but you're not wearing a mug and dove, you're not wearing an Israeli flag. But to them, that puts a lie to the whole canard. They're saying, oh, we're not anti-Jewish, we're not anti-Semitic, we're only anti-Israel. Yet every time they see a Jew, they start with these anti-Semitic statements and slogans, free Palestine, whatever it might be. It just shows it's just a manifestation of anti-Semitism.
The irony is that Palestinians are Semites. So the idea that saying free Palestine is anti-Semitic is actually kind of funny. Like it's just ridiculous. It
They've
doesn't
used
make
the
sense.
term anti-Semite so much that it just ruins everything. It's like if you burn your hand on the oven, oh, anti-Semite. Like they use it for everything. To the point where and they don't really. When I was down in the to Florida when the Jewish, a very pro-Zionist Jewish organization. I was down in Florida. They invited me to speak, and when I said yes, they were like, "Oh, well, do you know who we are?" And I was like, "Well, no, but I mean, you invited me." And they were like, "Well, it's not going to be an easy conversation." I'm like, "Okay, well, the truth, and I would gladly share it." And before I could even speak at this engagement, this gentleman stands up and he was like, "You're an anti-Semite." And I said, "Okay." I said, I acknowledge your comment. Let's break that down. Anti being against or against something. Semite. What is the definition of a Semite? And he says to me, he says, "Don't get semantics with me." I was like, aha, the word semantic. Semite, you're close. Why do we use that term semantic from the root word Semite of what you said I am anti? Because Palestinians are considered Semites. And he was like, "Well, they're not Jews." And I was like, Semite doesn't mean Jew. You don't even know what the word means. And I would venture to guess that there are a lot of people that use the word anti-Semite that do not know what the word actually means.
Of course, most of them don't. They just know it. Well, they just apply it as anti-Jewish because that's what we were all raised to. That was like our, that was the code word for they don't like us.
After the dental appointment I had today, I'm an anti-dentite. I am a raging anti-dentite. That's only because I hadn't gone for an appointment in 6 months instead of 4, which is what I normally do, and they tore my mouth up good. So I got what was coming to me.
We
which
need to
means
get
I
to
have
super
hate them
chats
now. So we have to conclude the conversation for the evening. But Tony, it's always a pleasure. Obviously, we will have more to talk about going forward. Just
First week in April, we're gonna come to DC.
yes,
We're gonna have like a revolutionary change in DC for that week. We're gonna make some sort of plan.
So
I've asked all my family for my Christmas stocking and my Christmas gifts. I want 20s, 10s, and 5s. So I have sets of $35 to bail me out each day that we're up there, because I'm gonna go hard in the paint.
Okay.
We got your back, brother.
It's sort of like needing stripper money, but yeah, I hear you.
Whatever works, whatever gets the job done.
If you have the cash on hand, and once you get arrested and thrown in the Huskow and you got cash on hand, you can get out a lot quicker than having to wait for the Capitol security guard to go to the ATM for you, because they
No, this
draw
is
out the
revenue.
process. But if
This
you
is
got
revenue.
cash, you can walk in, you pay your cash, and you're out.
All right, I'm gonna come prepared. I might be there with my camper. We'll see.
Have a Merry
And if
Christmas.
I really want to get spicy, I think maybe I'll do it in pennies.
You see, now if I were you, I would,
especially since the penny is no longer being made. It'll be like a total,
See,
just-
now you're getting all in
You
the
see,
revolutionary
that
spirit.
would really piss them off. So yes, it's definitely a good idea. Maybe roll them up. Who knows? But end of the day, we got your back. We look forward to seeing you then. But we'll probably be talking a lot sooner.
Yeah, we'll
than
see
that.
you before that.
Of course.
We have some
Of course.
plans. We have plans.
We do.
Yeah.
Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy
You
New
too.
Year. And we'll be in touch.
Thanks.
All right.
Anthony.
Bless y'all. I'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
See you, man. One of our favorites. And of course, it's been a wonderful evening.
That's way
But
too
we-
big. I feel like we're so big. Like that's the other thing about you being in the
I'm
studio.
ready
with
for
me.
my close-up. Mr.
I know. I
Padilla.
feel like we're so big.
Absolutely. If you have enjoyed the stream tonight, which we hope you have, please consider going to patreon.com/revolutionary change. For as little as $5 a month, you can become a supporter of our small but mighty channel. Something happened.
Keep talking.
Can you get us in? Thank you.
We were in. He just couldn't see you.
I couldn't see.
He
Yeah.
couldn't see us.
I'm invisible. That's what ended up happening. Colin, while you're at it, can you let us know the results of our poll?
Yeah,
for the
let's see what
evening?
happened for a poll because I know what I would pick, and I can't vote because we're behind the
Mhm.
thing.
Da-da-da, da-da-da,
But
da-da-da, da-da-da.
My pick. Do you want to know my pick before or after we know?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Because all right.
Colin, are you there?
What was your pick?
3.
Okay. See, my pick is 2.
I thought 2 was good too.
All right, so the poll just ended,
And what do we have?
we got 110 votes, and out
Who's
of
the
the
winner?
it is. Oh, how do I read this? Okay, in third place we got number 1 with 15%.
Okay.
In second place we have number 2 with 22%, and
That was
first
my
place
pick.
we have number 3 with 63% of the vote.
Wow. Okay. And guys, I do recommend if you watch Sabby's little clip on this, she actually shows where number 3, somebody made it into like a moving video thing. So he's actually riding on the little horse. And so I recommend if you could get your
pretty funny.
hands on that, it actually is very funny.
Let's go through our super chats. You guys have been fantastic this evening. I heard that some of you guys were having trouble making a contribution, but we definitely want to give
Nothing
a big shout
surprises
out.
me.
George Benson, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. We really appreciate
Thanks,
that.
George.
Jim Talib, always Johnny on the spot with the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you, my friend. Sammy 1973 with the DKK 20 something.
Denmark.
Oh, Danish. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas, host, guests, and chat. Thank you very much.
It's a Krona. Do
I
they
don't-
have Krona, guys?
I
Do
don't
the
know why
Danes
this
use
one is here.
Krona? Because it's not euros, so obviously.
Jen highlighted this one for some reason. I subscribe from my account and my girlfriend's account. As someone from Gaza directly affected by Israel's genocide, I find your courage very humanizing of us. Much
Coverage.
love.
Coverage.
That's what I said.
You said courage.
Oh, coverage of us. Oh, okay. Coverage of us, very humanizing. Much love and support.
Yes, that's our goal.
Auspicious. Yes,
That's our goal.
very much so. And we're here for you, my friend. Sending our best. Libertarian Social Democrat, member for 2 months. Europe is cautious about ingredients, but they don't have this anti-vax and an anti-modern medicine culture like we have here, using religion as an excuse. That is true, 100%. Libertarian Social Democrat with a $1.99. Anti-vax are okay with TRT and shady supplements. Those guys that like peddle seeds and stuff like that, like growth seeds. There's always somebody trying to make money off of something, my friend. That's how it goes. Carson Cruz, thank you for checking in with the $10. Anthony, thank you for your service to humanity. We thank him as well. Goba44 with the $4.99. Great panel. As evil as U.S. foreign policy is, it is comforting to know there are moral people doing real journalism.
Thank you.
We do appreciate that, and we are trying.
And you know,
our
just
best.
and I'm glad that everybody got to see tonight that the diversity. You know what I mean? Like we had a really well-rounded group in terms of the political spectrum.
Yeah, we did.
As guests, and we generally do. And there's a lot of stuff we're not going to agree on. I believe in the 21st century economic bill of rights. I believe that the purpose of having a society and a civilization is for us to have those things. Otherwise, why have that?
We're going to get single payer. It's going to happen.
And yeah, but
People
I mean,
are
like,
moving on.
I believe that we're entitled to education. I believe we're entitled to housing. I believe that we're entitled to education. I believe that we're entitled to a living wage. So, you know, I just come from this as a very different perspective.
Libertarian Social Democrat with the $1.99. People should know Albanian Muslims saved Jewish people.
Muslims all over
All over.
have been saving Jewish people.
Libertarian Social Democrat with the $1.99. Bosnia, Kosovo, Albania are Europe's Muslim nations. Agreed. And last but certainly not least, Saeed with the 50 Revolutionary Change membership.
That's
gifts.
my man Mohi.
And leave it to a Muslim to bring in the Christmas cheer better than anybody else.
That baby.
Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things that we ask you to do.
What do we have coming up on Christmas, Peter?
We will be speaking apparently with Noreen Kaswani. I believe that's how you say her name.
Okay.
So, guys, Christmas night and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse, except revolutionary change on Christmas night.
And well, I mean, what's a Jew to do?
I'll join in. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things we ask you to do. We love you all. We appreciate you all. It was a wonderful solstice and
Free Palestine.
good night, guys.